it works, but I think it's important to go anyway. So we went and we learned how to register for classes again. And they're talking about how you need to think about your long-term plans and what you want to do. And Sydney's listening intently, and she turns to me and says, Dad, I want to be a sports writer. And Oregon has a sports journalism program. Here's the link. So she's clearly given this some thought. And I was like, oh, my heart melted. And then I thought, oh, God, here we go, Noah Eagle Jr. Because you give a lot of grief to those who follow in their parents' footsteps. And I thought, I'd have never once pushed her to do this or want to do this. She's around it. She likes sports. She's a good athlete, certainly a better athlete than I was. So now, how am I supposed to view this, given the view that we have of Noah Eagle on the program, given the fact that she arrived at this career idea on her own? Have we been a little bit harsh on poor Noah, or is Sydney just another example of media nepotism? I should, if I get into coaching, she'll follow me into that too, and she'll get all kinds of great opportunities she doesn't deserve. How am I supposed to view this, oh, wise nepotism viewer?
Yeah, you can't help her. You have to just let her go. Well, of course. I've said this for years. I understand why. And, it started with Mike Golick Jr. I thought it was crazy that he didn't have to go and work at a small station in ESPN, an ESPN local station before, hey, here's a national job with your dad. And I like Mike Golick Sr. a lot. He has been somebody that I've had a lot of great conversations with. Mm-hmm. We're always going to do what's best for our kids. Always. And if that means you're going to be called nepotism dude, do you think you care if it gives your kid a chance? So I've always liked to point it out. And if your kid's no good, and I'm not going to put anybody in there. Noah Eagle's been awesome, by the way. He is very good at his job.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
Now, should he have had to have go through the same process? Hey, life ain't fair, people. We all know that. Life ain't fair. Okay? It's just not. You could be born, it's just not. So we can sit here and, that's not fair. Yeah, deal with it. That's life. You can try to help and do as much stuff as you can to make things fair. But when it's your own kid, you're going to do what's best for your kid. So I don't have a problem with you doing it. And in the same respect, when she's writing for the Oregonian, if that's still a thing, and if AI hasn't taken that over, which I think it will.
It's kind of a tough field to choose to go into these days.
Cool for her. And good that you were able to help, because that is part of being a parent. Your job is to try and help give your kid the best opportunity to go out and have a great, meaningful, successful life. So I can sit here and be all judgerson, but I would do the same thing. And I think everybody as a parent would. And if that's not the case, hey, kudos to you as a parent. But I'm not going to. Now, there are examples where people have gotten these opportunities and have fallen on their face and not been very good. Mm-hmm. Eventually, you have to be able to do the job. So there are guys and gals that have been put in positions that they didn't have to go through the process. And typically, maybe your talent and your upbringing and the environment you grew up in gives you that same baseline that maybe going to a smaller paper or station or whatever role in life you have. The people that I've seen that have had the most success in this, whether it's somebody running a construction company or something else, is you give those opportunities, but you make sure you don't bring them right to the top. They go through the same processes with the understanding that they want to end up in the position of mommy or daddy, and you better be ready to take some heat, because everybody talks about that when you get it. Oh, little Chucky's out there. Oh, I wonder how Chucky got that job. Well, we all know how Chucky got that. Oh, Maddie, how did she get into the great school? Or how did she? Oh, because her dad's a big blanking deal back in Wisconsin. Which
I don't know if that would work, actually. She's...
So do you not kind of want to tell her, I don't know,
I
Probably
literally,
find a different field.
my next sentence was, said that's really far away. So, again, we'll see. She has every opportunity to choose something else.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about going to Oregon. I'm talking about going into your line of work.
So, a couple of things on this discussion so we can get to the preview of Packers, Eagles, and talk about a variety of things, including Brandon McManus, who I don't think we've talked about enough. And, yes, I wrote about him in today's Wisconsin State Journal, which I know Tausch read from start to finish.
Sunday article?
No, today is Wednesday, or Tuesday if you were listening to the Open. But, couple things. One, when I was coming up as a reporter, when I was in high school, I did a paper on sports journalism, and the sports editor of the Milwaukee Sentinel, Terry Galvin, told me, do something else. You don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And, of course, I ignored him because this was my dream since I was a fourth grader. Pipe Jim chiming in, by the way, on the private talk and text line. Hopefully her questions will be less wordy. Good. That's a good one. That's funny. I like that. And then I wrote in with longtime and highly decorated Milwaukee Sentinel and then later Milwaukee Journal Sentinel columnist Dale Hoffman to the Packers-Steelers game in which Yancey Thigpen dropped the touchdown and he said, "Merry Christmas, Green Bay." And he tried to talk me out of this. I love what I do. I love working with you every day. I love telling people stories. I'm glad I ignored their advice not to do this. So I can't do that to Sydney. I'm not going to tell her, don't do this, go do something more important, even though there are more important things that someone as smart as her can do. Secondly, and to your point that you made earlier, I am who I am in large part because I covered high school sports and all the non-revenue UW sports that I still care about as we get into the NIL era. That's what makes you better at your job. So to your point about skipping steps, I don't want her to skip steps if she actually does this. I don't want that because that's what makes you good at it later. Now, Noah Eagle is obviously super talented, and the fact that he's able to do things on a national scale already, hey, God bless him. And if his name was Noah Tauscher, he wouldn't be getting those opportunities yet. But
No, he wouldn't.
Again, I just wanted to get the ruling from you before we move forward because, unfortunately, my second
it's 100%.
thought was
It'll be
Tausch.
100% nepotistic, but there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem. And anybody that has kids, you're going to do whatever you possibly can in your life to help your kids. Period. Thin end.
And as a parent, it's pretty cool when your kid wants to do what you do. Like that's a pretty good feeling. Maybe Max plays in the NFL and then hosts a show with Sydney 30 years from now. All right,
I can almost assure you that's not going to happen.
The radio show part or the NFL part?
It depends. I'm not going to. I'm not going to tell. My kids look at things a little differently in that respect. But yeah, I don't think he's going to be hosting a radio show with one of your kids. I could be wrong. You never know.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
I'll never say never.
I think
it would be something. I
appreciate your positivity on this because apparently you're now looking into what your positivity score is. What is this? You sent this to us the other day. Is this another one of your Elon Musk deals? Is he judging your positivity? Is that what's happening here?
As I told you yesterday, AI is speeding up at the pace that we have no concept of. I've paid attention to this AI convention that's going on. I don't even know where it's going on, but it's for anybody that's intrigued by this. It's crazy how fast everything's going. I told you there are numerous things, and you can sit and put your head in the sand and not okay, but it's coming and it's coming rapidly. So I just put in because. After Sunday's game and after Monday's show, everybody's kind of coming at me a little bit, being a homer, and I'm being too positive about a team that, by the way, if you look at their season rankings, defensively and offensively, pretty good regular season.
No doubt.
This isn't some dog blank team that can't beat anybody, and I feel like I've been pretty fair. I've been optimistic, no doubt. But I've been pretty fair and very critical after the Minnesota game. Not as much Sunday just because I thought it was bleh. I kind of sensed what was happening, and the fact that this wasn't an all-in type of deal was kind of what was leading me to feel the way that I felt. So I just plugged in Grok. Mark Tauscher, Wilde And Tausch. Basically about, I wanted to get how I covered the Green Bay Packers. And Hunter, I don't know if you have that, but I sent that little clip over to you, what AI came back with. And in essence, they said I do a pretty good job, but I do skew a little bit positively. Do we have that or not?
I don't have that.
I have it.
Okay.
I have it.
All right.
I have it. I'm not quite. You sent this Sunday morning, so this was before your positivity about the Bears game. So you basically lived up to Grok's assessment of you. I read
we'll find
now
out.
from.
I don't know.
I read. No, you did. I'm telling you, you did. I read now from Grok. Mark. Which, again, Grok doesn't know you very well, clearly. Still got a few bugs to work out in the AI realm. Your positivity score, based on your recent X posts, shows a balanced mix of optimism and realism.
Yes.
You've expressed appreciation and agreement in several posts, but also highlighted challenges and critical views, suggesting a nuanced perspective on life and sports.
Yeah.
This would place your positivity score around the middle to slightly positive range.
That's where I want to live. I don't want to be Debbie Doomsdayer Packer fan. This season sucks, and I just realize how difficult it is. I've lived through some seasons where we didn't make the playoffs, both as a player and as an analyst, and it's not fun. It's not fun at all. And I think we have become, as Packer fans, I don't know the right way I want to say this, we've become a little bit jaded. We've become a little bit jaded. It ain't
Entitled?
easy to be 11 and it ain't easy to be 12-5, 11-6, making playoffs, going through transitions at quarterback, going with the youngest roster. And it's not as if we were just garbanzo. Just we had a bad loss. Okay. Now, does that mean we're going to go beat Philadelphia on Sunday? No, it doesn't. But this season, it's still very enjoyable, and we've gotten a lot of really good entertainment, and this is a good football team. I don't know if it's a championship-level team. I would say no, as we sit here today. But I've also seen where we've had championship-level teams and we've the best team in the league and haven't gotten it done. So that's the balance that I've been fighting, and I wanted to make sure Grok kind of felt the same way. I'd love for you to plug that into your Grok.
I will do that. I will do that. I will do that. All right, couple things because I want to try and stay somewhat on time to get to Bryan Bulaga on time. One, how do you balance the way you have viewed this season? It is hard to go 12-5. The Packers weren't good enough to do it. They went 11-6. How do you view this season and how you're looking at it to say that very heated argument we had in the early days of our program when the Packers ran the table to reach the NFC Championship game, Aaron Rodgers with an unforgettable throw to Jared Cook, followed by Mason Crosby kicking game-winning field goals in Dallas twice, because they called timeout as he was kicking the first one, and then having to play in an NFC Championship game against the number one seed with Gooch playing guard and Ladarius Gunter covering Julio Jones, and then us arguing because there were people on the panel who didn't think it was a successful season. So how do you balance your view of that year with the way you're looking at this year? Because that would seem to be incongruous to me.
Well, I looked at Aaron Rodgers' prime as every year we didn't get to a Super Bowl is disappointing. It's as simple as that. I did not look at that from this perspective with Jordan Love yet. I don't have him there. That's not where I'm at. I think that this is a good team that will continue to get better. I don't think we're at the point where this is Super Bowl or bust yet.
I agree. Okay.
I hope we get there, but I thought Detroit was going to be a handful this year. They have been. Philadelphia, I give them credit with Nick Sirianni and hiring the new offensive and defensive coordinator. They made a step up. I felt like San Fran was dipped. They did. And here we sit where Green Bay, I thought they'd be in better position than the 7 slot. I thought they'd be in the 5 or 6. And I would feel a lot better if we played Tampa or the Rams than I would if we had to go to Philly. That's the disappointing part about the season for me, the way we finished it. But that's how I look at it. And I'm not apologizing to anybody. I'm not going to say this is where I think this team is about right where they should be. I don't think they should have lost to Minnesota twice. That's the not being able to find a way to win close games has been the disappointing part. But the defense is markedly better than what it's been. And a lot of young talent and a lot of cap space to get better quickly at key spots. I would think the Gutenator, with the success he had in picking up Xavier McKinney and Josh Jacobs, is going to look at this long and hard and say, we're either going to go get a stud edge, or a stud corner to continue to help make this defense get better and better.
And he's got the money to do it. So, look, you're preaching to the choir because I did not expect them to go to the Super Bowl this year. I picked them to go 12-5.
Don't you let this?
And I said they're a year away.
Don't you let this team beat Philly, because if they beat Philly, I'm going to probably be on here Monday saying, I'm not saying, but I love the matchup with Detroit again. I do. I love the matchup if we get there.
I agree. So, again, we'll start with them on Sunday in Philadelphia. So here's the question that I want for the Carbless Talk and Text line. Liz is more. Because we're going to have Bryan coming up, I want you to answer this. On a scale of 1 to 100, where are you in your positivity? Well, when I think of scores, I think like on a 100 scale, right? We can do from 1 to 158.3 if we want to use the quarterback rating scale, but 1 to 100, where are you on your positivity about the Packers winning on Sunday? Not about the season. Whenever the season ends, whether it's on February 9th in the Super Bowl or it's Sunday, after that we can talk about how positively you view the season. But right now, going into Philly, where from 1 to 100 are you on your positivity that you think they can win? That's our question for the Talk and Text line, the Carbless Talk and Text line, 844-770-3776. Tausch, I know you're 100 on Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, but where would you say you are on them winning in Philadelphia?
Well, I can tell you this. With Pella Windows and Doors, I'm at 100. Happy New Year means a lot of rough days ahead. What? Yeah, I'm reiterating what you just said.
Oh, okay.
Here.
And not answering the question.
Why don't you go ahead? Hey, you want this? If you want
to email it to me, I'll be happy to do it.
Happy New Year means a lot of rough days ahead for those who suffer from seasonal affective disorder. Plenty of great frigid days. It's been a little gloomy around. I just want to be snuggly and cuddly and warm at your crib. Well, Pella can make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. Celebrate the new year with 0 interest for up to 3 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. But hurry up. You only have until January 31st, so visit PellaWI.com today to learn more. Certain restrictions do apply.
You didn't answer the question.
I just did.
No. Where is Tausch on his positivity about the Packers beating the Eagles on Sunday? He didn't answer it just now. He will answer it, as Grok calls him, Mark. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. It doesn't matter if it's your first betting slip ever or just the first one of the week. We've got your Potawatomi sportsbook picks covered. Tune in Wednesdays to the Weekly Wager with Greg Matzik, Ben Brust, and Jen Latta.
If someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything, you take it.
The Weekly Wager, Wednesday nights at 6, right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel.
Patients everywhere are experiencing joint pain relief thanks to QC Kinetics regenerative treatments. So how does this non-surgical approach work? QC Kinetics Medical Director Dr. Aaron Wolkoff explains.
It's like when you get a paper cut and the cells that come onto that scene first stop the bleeding, and then it recruits more cells to form new skin and new soft tissue. And then you look down a week later, 2 weeks later, and it's like nothing happened and that paper cut never existed.
In this same way, QC Kinetics uses your natural biologics to help repair and restore aching knees, hips, shoulders, and backs.
We take those same similar cells in different areas that are arthritic, are painful, and we cause this kind of internal self-healing that can resolve patients' pain.
Relief without surgery. See if you're a candidate for QC Kinetics regenerative treatments.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee. Want that mirror finish on your car? You need Z-Gloss by Z-Bart. Z-Gloss is a 3-layer ceramic coating that not only gives your car that mirror finish, it protects it from everything that Mother Nature can throw at it. Visit zbart.com for more information.
The Packers' 11-game winning streak over the Bears is over after a 24-22 loss at Lambeau Field. However, the big story coming out of the game, the health of Jordan Love. The Green Bay starting quarterback left in the second quarter with a right elbow injury. After the game, Love talked about what happened on the play that caused the injury.
I landed on it on the ground, I think. Just kind of pretty much lost all feeling in my hand and pretty much just went numb.
The Packers will be the 7th seed in the NFC playoffs and will visit the number 2 seed Philadelphia Eagles this coming wildcard weekend.
This has been your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee.
Winning in the NFL comes down to the basics, blocking and tackling. In retirement, the certainty of protection and income are the keys to success. And as a former NFL player myself, I have experience with both. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons. Having played on winning teams with the Steelers and Falcons, studying game films helped me mentally prepare for the challenges ahead. Now I star in a new Hollywood documentary called The Retirement Deception to help you visualize and prepare for your fourth quarter of life. You see, you don't retire on your nest egg, but rather the income it can produce. This film shows you exactly how to protect your retirement from stock market drops and produce more income than you thought possible. And it's free for you to view. Call 855-620-1801 right now for your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Don't risk your retirement savings at the goal line. You don't need to be risky to have a winning strategy. Call today to speak with an all-pro retirement specialist to get your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Call today. 855-620-1801. That's 855-620-1801. MitchLyonsWealth.com. Your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Look what I found.
What is it?
It's a list of the traditional and modern anniversary gifts for each year of marriage.
Sarah and I use a different list. But go ahead and tell us about yours.
The traditional gift for your first anniversary is paper, but the modern gift is a clock.
Well, our list says the first anniversary is always diamond jewelry.
What's your list called?
The People's Choice.
The traditional gift for your 6th anniversary is iron, but the modern gift is wood.
What a coincidence. For the 6th anniversary, our list says diamonds again. What do you have for the 10th anniversary, Rick?
Traditional is aluminum, modern is diamond jewelry.
Well, there you go. Our lists agree. What have you got for the 7th anniversary?
Copper and a desk set.
Nope. Diamonds again.
I'm beginning to see the wisdom of the People's Choice list.
It's good to have you on board.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Did you make up that People's Choice list, or is it real?
Well, we're people, aren't we?
Find the Kesslers nearest you at KesslersDiamonds.com.
You're listening to Wilde And Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
I think I'm about a 43. On a scale of 1 to 100 of the Packers winning in Philly on Sunday, I'm a 43. Because I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility at all, and I think this is really instructive, actually. Because it's easy to say, I don't expect them to win, but how dubious are you on it? I'm not like at a 10. Like, Jalen Hurts is going to be rusty. Their defense has played well, by and large.
Or he's going to be incredibly fresh and sharp. Could go one of two ways.
But you would agree that generally speaking, when you don't play for as long as he hasn't played, like this isn't like right. So 43, I think, is a little optimistic compared to other people.
So if you're over 50, does that mean you think they're going to win?
You think it's more likely they'll win than they'll lose? Yeah, right.
So you're pretty close. Okay.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a close game. I think Saquon Barkley is going to beat him, but I think it's going to be a tight game. I think it's going to be a really good game. And then when they lose 40-10, I'll have to come on and say, well, I guess I was wrong. But if they can prevent big plays in the passing game, I think they can make it really interesting. That's where I stand. I don't expect them to win. I do expect them to be competitive. So where are you?
I think we need to look at who wins the battle of the running backs. Always we look at this and say, well, the quarterback play is going to be the difference. And I'll lean on that almost every time. I think Philly has built their team, and now especially with Jalen being out for a while, they've built it around Saquon, that run game in the O-line, and their defense has been playing really good football.
That they have, yeah.
Green Bay's offense has not. Sans Josh Jacobs. So if Josh Jacobs isn't really good on Sunday, I don't think they're going to find a way to win. He needs to be better than Saquon Barkley on Sunday.
Still waiting for your number.
What number?
1 to
The
100.
number we've been talking about, Tausch.
Yeah, I don't like the 1 to 100. I like 1 to 10. Like that's how I like looking at it.
All right,
5.
1 to 10.
I think it's a coin toss. That's where I'm at.
So just to be clear, you couldn't go 50. You had to go. I don't want to do it. I've got to do 1 to 10.
No, I don't like go like 1 to 100. Like what are we doing? Like 1 to 10 is easier. It's simpler.
But your score was literally simple. But Tausch, your score was literally just a scale of 1 to 100 if you add a 0 on the end. Like it wasn't like you said
multiplier, some might say.
Yeah, like you literally did nothing to like change where you would be on a scale of 1 to 10 or 1 to 100.
Right, you'd be at 50.
No, I just did.
Yeah, no, you didn't.
It's smaller.
But you didn't. All right. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate the days where you choose to be difficult. One of the things that's great about
I'm not choosing to be difficult. I think it's a coin flip.
Right, but you could have said 50. If you're going to say it's a coin flip, some might say that $1 is 100 pennies. You could have gone, 50 would be a 50-cent piece, so you could have been right in the middle. Coin flip, you flip the 50-cent piece, sure, that's what I'm saying. $50, some might say. All I know is that your dollar goes farther, and no one is difficult when you go to Quick Trip. It's certainly easy because there's so many locations during your drives.
Indeed. Life's busy. And Quick Trip, we get it. Whether you're craving fresh coffee, tasty bakery treat, quick grab-and-go meal or snack, Quick Trip is your go-to. Variety, quality, fast service. Quick Trip's team is all about making your day easier and better. Clean restrooms, fresh groceries, and everything in between. Quick Trip's got you covered. Plus ATMs, free air for your tires. And those aren't the only perks. Bananas, jumbo onions, and guess what? Potatoes. They are back, all just 29 cents a pound. Plus, you get breakfast sausage links, $2.49 for 12 ounce. Nature's Touch shredded cheese, 2 for $4. Snack pies, 5 for $5. It's always fun. Go take a look at all the variety of different snack pies. You can get winter days. You got soup bags on special, $6.99 every Tuesday, or the Quickery Cheese Mountain Pizza on special. That'll be tomorrow and Friday. $6.99 for thin crust, $9.99 for specialty crust. Download the Quick Rewards app. Take advantage of all the Quick Trip has to offer. Order ahead for pickup or curbside delivery. Quick Trip, we will see you next time.
Making your life easier and better. Quick Trip and Mark Tauscher, they both do the same thing for me. Bryan Bulaga always makes the show better, and he'll do that next. It's Wilde And Tausch.
We're on the Packers playoff push.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcasts for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
As a bull rider, I prefer to do things single-handedly. That's why I love the UW Credit Union app. Doggy! It lets me check accounts, make transfers and more on the go. And if I need an extra hand, UW Credit Union has 13 Milwaukee area branches. Yippee! So, if you want simple mobile banking, mosey on over to UW Credit Union. They're here for every y'all. Federally insured by NCUA.
Who's looking for a deal? Well, Cousin Subs has a better deal just for you. Cousin's new $10 meal deals are now available online only. Choose between a 7.5-inch ham and provolone, turkey breast, or veggie sub, a bag of chips or regular fry, a regular fountain beverage, and cookie at cousinsubs.com or on the mobile app for just $10. Now that's a better deal. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. Available at participating locations only. Offer subject to change without notice.
Do you want to have more fun watching the NFL playoffs? Try playing Sleeper Picks. Just download the Sleeper app today and pick more or less on at least 2 players' projected stats. You can win up to 100 times your cash. For a limited time, Sleeper has a special offer. New users have to just play $5 and they'll receive $55 in free entries. Just download the Sleeper app today and use code BRAD, B-R-A-D. Must be 18 years or older. Promo code, location, and other restrictions apply. Minimum deposit $25. See terms of use for details. Please play responsibly. Call 1-800-426-2537 for help.
It's like being trapped in a cage. And I know that sounds dramatic, but your breathing triangle problem has got you trapped. And once you're freed, you're going to be able to live the life that you're missing out on. Now, this can simply mean experiencing the true pleasure of breathing freely. It will mean better sleep and more energy. And the worry of this problem any more affecting your life is going to be gone. Because in almost every case, when Advent has solved a breathing triangle problem, it's a one and done. Because we're not in the business of delivering Band-Aids. We want to fix your nasal breathing problem for good. We don't want you to be a lifelong patient. We want you to be our next success story.
Isn't it time you break free from that cage? Take the next step. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
This is Monster Jam. Big air, backflips, and all-out racing. Monster Jam, as big as it gets. The fun begins at the pit party, where you can meet the drivers, get autographs, take pictures, and see the trucks up close. Get your pit party pass at monsterjam.com today. Must have valid event ticket to enter pit party. Restrictions may apply. Rules and activities are subject to change. Visit website for event details. Coming to Fiserv Forum for 3 huge events January 10th through 11th.
With your Saganiac Planning Marquette recap, I'm Chris Larson. After trailing by 14 in the first half, number 7 Marquette outscored Georgetown 45-28 in the second half to rally for a 74-66 victory at Fiserv Forum. Senior guard Stevie Mitchell finished with 13 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 steals.
Stevie Mitchell to the basket, counted in a foul, he lays it up and in. He beat Sorber, then he beat Williams, and Stevie Mitchell will go to the line and try the three-point play.
The Golden Eagles improved to 14-2 overall and 5-0 in Big East play. They visit DePaul Tuesday night.
For more than 40 years, Network Health has been the trusted experts in health plans. Just like you, they're honest, hardworking, and grateful to call Wisconsin home. Whether you're seeking coverage for yourself, your family, or your employees, Network Health has you covered with a range of options, including individual and family marketplace plans, employer plans, and Medicare Advantage plans. Call Steve Fluellen, Saganiac Planning, 262-783-6161. 262-783-6161. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service.
This is Wilde And Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Famous friends you probably never heard of, but back in Rutherford County, our crowd is second to none. You might not know.
That song is music to my ears. You know what that means? It means it's Bryan Bulaga time on Wilde And Tausch. Bryan, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
We are great. I would appreciate a smidge more cooperation from you on our concepts today than I'm getting from other people. So I begin with this.
Jesse. Brian, it's Jesse that's been.
It's not Jesse. He's not even here today. So the Packers play the Eagles on Sunday. Tausch shared with us earlier in the week his X positivity score. Elon broke down with Grok his positivity. He's a bit of a homer. I don't know if you've heard. And then when I asked him on a scale of 1 to 100 what his positivity is about the Packers beating the Eagles on Sunday, he not so politely refused to use the 1 to 100 scale. What are we doing here? And I quote. So he used the 1 to 10 scale and said he's a 5, which I'm no mathematician, but that would seem to be a 50 if you did 1 to 100. So I ask you, oh wise one, where is your positivity on a scale of 1 to 100 that the Packers will beat the Eagles on Sunday?
Yeah, 1 to 100, I would be. Is this assuming Hurts plays? Right? Is this assuming?
Yeah, Hurts is going to play.
I think we expect him to play. Yes.
Okay, so this is assuming Hurts plays. I'm probably at 50 to 55% is where I'm at. That Green Bay wins. It's because I never like to be at under 50% that a team can win. Like I'm not comfortable saying that they have an under 50% chance of winning because I
was at 43.
I think the team can play well enough to win. So 43. I mean, you're not too far off. I mean, 43 is not terrible, but I just think they have enough that they can go and win. I understand that they haven't in these big games against good NFC teams finished the deal at the end of the games. I understand that, but that doesn't mean they can't in this game. But it's going to take a certain effort that we haven't seen yet, and that's why I'm not at like 65 or 70%, and I'm just above 50 or at 50 because it needs to be shown, and it's going to be a tall task against Philly.
Tausch, can we get you up to 55 on a scale of 1 to 100?
I think at this point where Green Bay's at, it's a coin toss, and Green Bay needs to finish games better. And Brian, what are the big things that you see that don't give you more confidence?
Well, I mean, I think in these bigger games, so to speak, again, you're looking at against these higher echelon teams is how they start, right? Like you get into these games and you dig yourself a hole right off the get in the first quarter, and it's hard to recover. Like how you start these first quarters of these games is kind of a big deal. And you look at how they've done that through against Detroit in the first two and in Minnesota. I mean, you turn the ball over, you go 3-and-out, or in Minnesota, the first game you're down 28-7 at half or whatever it was. Like, you're not recovering from that. That's just really hard to come back from. And even Minnesota too, right? In Minnesota, they were down whatever it was. Like, it's hard to come back from those things. And first drive against Minnesota with the turnover, like, you got momentum going, then you give it away, and it's hard to get that thing back when you're on the road. So, like, I look at what happens in that first quarter of the game. If they're able to control Philly in the first quarter of the game, and they can put touchdowns on the board to start, like, that's a big step forward for them because they haven't been able to do it. And, like, if we see that sign early in the game, like, that could be a change that we, haven't seen from them. And that's something. And the end of the game, like, we could all talk about, the defense hasn't been able to stop or this or that, but, like, a lot of those questions can get answered if they take care of business at the beginning of the game, right? Like, you look at things differently if you score that extra 10 points at the start of the game and how the game looks at the end. So, like, we could say what if or that, but, like, you don't get yourself in those positions in the fourth quarter if you do what you need to do at the beginning. So I want to see what happens within the first 30, not 30 minutes, but first 15 minutes of the game. I want to see how they come out. And if that looks positive, then yeah, I'll feel a lot better about their chances as that game rolls on.
Bryan, would you take the ball again? LaFleur he takes that pill now. He doesn't defer. Would you just say, for me, this game, your defense is playing better than your offense is right now, in my opinion. Jalen Hurts is rusty. I think I would much prefer putting them out there first, trying to get a stop, and then building it that way, kind of going back to the old school analytics of trying to get that middle part of the game, that middle 8, where you can go get it. I think that's a part of this, too, because when you take the ball, you're putting a lot of pressure on your offense. All right, we got to set the tone for the game, and when you don't, it reverberates through, especially early in football games.
Yep. If I'm him and you win that coin toss, I'm sending the defense out there first. You're right. Hurts, regardless of how big of a leader he is and how talented he is and what he does for their football team. He hasn't played in a while, right? And he's been in the protocol, and I don't know what he's been doing, if he's been at practice like Dobbs was when he was a full participant. I don't know what he's been doing, right? I guess it doesn't matter, but he hasn't been playing games, right? He played, a series or two against Washington, and he hasn't been back since. So you're going to want him to be out there and test him. Let's see what he can do. Let's see how he's playing. And what you get out of that, too, is you get to see right away when Philly walks out in the field, if they get the ball right away, what they're going to try to do to you right away, right? When you take the ball on offense first, right? And I always thought this way, too, when we were with McCarthy or even with LaFleur, you take the ball first and say you even go down and score, right? And you show that other coach what type of offensive game you want to play. You allow them to kind of counter and how they're going to play you, right? Like you allow them to kind of, all right, so they're going to throw the ball up and down the field, or, they're going to run it and they're going to throw. So we want to try to counter it with this way. You're going to allow, Philly's going to show you what they're going to want to do. We can assume they're going to try to ground and pound and run it with Saquon, which they probably will, but you're going to get Philly to show you what they want to do. And LaFleur and this defense, that's what you want to see. Are you just going to try to give Saquon the ball 30 times and kind of leave Hurts out of this thing? Okay, let's see it. If that's the game we're going to do, let's see it. Let's see it play out. And that's it. Let's get a stop. Let's get in the field. Let's get a stop. Let's get the ball back. Let's quiet down the link. Let's get this thing quiet, just like they did in Seattle. Like, you got to have that approach, like you did in Seattle. Quiet the building down and get the guys settled into the game so that, things can go a little bit smoother, because it's going to be rowdy there. It is going to be rowdy. I can assure you that.
And what Mike McCarthy did was he would pick his spots of when he would do that, right? If we're comparing their approaches. And Matt LaFleur has done it extensively this season. And the one that didn't make any sense to me the most was Sunday, when you're playing an offense that is scuffling, that has a rookie quarterback. Give them the ball, get them 3 and out. Because look, if you look at what they did offensively, the Bears had a 7-3 lead and had -4 net yards of offense. So you probably would have gotten them 3 and out if you'd have kicked it away. So to your point, when you guys went into Seattle and won and he took the ball, or I can't remember which game it was, where he wanted to steal a possession and he did the surprise onside kick, which you obviously can't do anymore. And it worked, right? Those were things that not only were calculated because you were thinking about the type of game you were in, they also, when they worked, when you went down and scored, or when you got the ball on the onside kick, the energy that created on your sideline was through the roof. And it quieted the other sideline and the fans that were there, to your point. So I agree with you. I'm very curious to see if he ends up agreeing with you. Are you due for another visit to practice? Like maybe give a pep talk to the offensive line, maybe, elbow him in the ribs a little bit and say, hey, man, I'm telling you, I played in Philly. Kick it away. Get that defense out there. Get a stop.
Yeah, I didn't get the call to come back to Green Bay for practice this week. I didn't get the invite. It's
Saving
okay.
you for the NFC Championship game weekend. I'm assuming.
I'm with them in spirit. Listen, this is. We could talk about what they should do to start the game. I just unfortunately think that whether or not he takes the ball, if they win the coin toss, whatever, like it's. It's going to come down to.
It's not going to win the game.
Like,
I get it.
Yeah. Like, there's going to be pivotal moments throughout the game, as there always is in playoff games. Like, there's always decisive moments within a playoff game because normally, good teams. Obviously, there's always certain playoff games that end up getting out of hand. There's always certain teams that don't belong and games get out of hand, kind of like the way we saw Green Bay and Dallas last year. Those games happen. But normally when you get into these types of games, there are good teams against good teams, and there's pivotal moments throughout games that decide these things. And I kind of see this game going that way with Green Bay and Philly. I think Green Bay's a good team. I really do. And they've played good teams really well, right? Like, I understand the way the first Minnesota game went, but they clawed their way back. They fought their way back into that game, regardless of what you say, how Minnesota played it, right? Like, Minnesota didn't want them to get back into the game. They didn't want to make it a one-score game. Like, they didn't look for that. But Green Bay fought their way back into it, and that's the way all the Detroit, maybe not the first Detroit game, but the other Detroit game, the other Minnesota game, they were tight ball games. So, like, I expect Green Bay to play it very similarly in this Philly game. So, like, it's going to come down to decisive moments, and can Green Bay win those decisive moments? And they haven't been able to do it up to this point, right, against, the Detroits and the Phillies and the Minnesotas. Can they do it this weekend? And that's going to be the deciding factor, and who's going to step up and do it now that, Watson's not there. You don't have that threat. Who's going to be the guy? And that will be the thing that everyone's intrigued to see.
All right, Brian, I have some other questions for you, including one that I want to bounce off of you before I ask Matt LaFleur later today. We will get to that coming up, plus a little tackle talk and where this offensive line is. Tausch mentioned it earlier. This is a defense that is playing extremely well right now for the Philadelphia Eagles. How is the offensive line going to handle that? And then a little bit of our discussion from earlier in the week about regression or not as much progression as you expected from quarterback Jordan Love. We'll ask Bryan about that as well. That's all still ahead. Bryan Bulaga on Wilde And Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. All day, every day, the Carbless talk and text line is open for you.
First off, there is not one team that's on the fringe that scares me.
800-990-3776. The Carbless talk and text line. This is more.
If only life had a remote control, you could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Looking for the most popular answer. What's the worst thing about Wisconsin winters? Gina Della from Pella.
Finding a sitter when snow closes school. Yay! It's the time of the year when we just want to be all warm and snuggly at home. And Pella helps make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. With inviting doors to let friends and family in and beautiful energy-efficient windows to keep the cold out. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee. Want that mirror finish on your car? You need Z-Gloss by Z-Bart. Z-Gloss is a 3-layer ceramic coating that not only gives your car that mirror finish, it protects it from everything that Mother Nature can throw at it. Visit zbart.com for more information.
The Packers' 11-game winning streak over the Bears is over after a 24-22 loss at Lambeau Field. However, the big story coming out of the game, the health of Jordan Love. The Green Bay starting quarterback left in the second quarter with a right elbow injury injury. After the game, Love talked about what happened on the play that caused the injury.
I landed on it on the ground, I think. Just kind of pretty much lost all feeling in my hand and pretty much just went numb.
The Packers will be the 7th seed in the NFC playoffs and will visit the number 2 seed Philadelphia Eagles this coming wildcard weekend.
This has been your Green and Gold Fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA and founder of the Neal Group. How's business? Do you really know? We recently worked with several clients who thought they knew, but didn't because their books were not in order. Imagine thinking you were making $1 million when you were really only making $200,000. Quite a difference. Or you thought sales were down, but they were up, and you didn't notice because you were so busy putting out fires. If these happen to you, we can help. We work with our clients to develop systems and procedures to improve their business and give them the information they need to know where their business is now and where it is going in the future. Don't wait. Start on the path to less stress, more cash in your pocket, and no more sleepless nights. Call us at 414-325-2040 or visit nealgroup.net today to book a meeting. We can talk over Zoom, the phone, in our office, or your place of business. Yes, we make house calls. Don't wait any longer. Call 414-325-2040 or visit nealgroup.net.
Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
It started with a prediction.
We'll go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
Station updates, show clips, and your place to interact with us every single day just by scrolling through your feed. Follow along on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at ESPN Milwaukee. You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Missed any of the show? Find us on Wisconsin On Demand wherever you get your podcasts. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Continuing with Bryan Bulaga on Wilde and Tausch. And Bryan, because you certainly are far more knowledgeable than me on a number of things, and because we spend time on Tackle Talk every week, I want you to put on your offensive lineman cap, but also the film guru that you are, and help me with this, because this question came in during the show yesterday from Ryan on Twitter, who I'm sure he has a very high positivity score. But it was so good that I want to ask Matt LaFleur it. And I want you to help me formulate how to ask him today. The question was, do you think Jordan Love's struggles are in part due to Matt LaFleur not being able, and I'm definitely not going to phrase it quite this way, to successfully mesh the new-ish running game for Josh Jacobs with the passing game and with the play-action game? Love seems disjointed since Jacobs started seeing success. And the reason why I wanted to ask you is because, and I've already used this without giving you credit, talking about how there's more duo blocking than the traditional zone scheme that they were running early in the Matt LaFleur era. They've changed up their running game to accommodate Josh Jacobs. How has that affected the play-action game? Because Tausch has pointed out multiple times that they seem to be in shotgun or pistol a lot more than under center, and that also affects the play-action game. So from your perspective, how do you view that, and is that a valid question to ask the head coach / offensive play caller?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you were to ask him a question, I think it would be, at least if I were to ask him something and how the play action that he was doing, I would say prior prior to Jacobs would be from the more zone style or zone scheme that, not as, and it's hard to reference because I know what he's going to say. He's going to say that we still do those concepts. So he's going to say we still do those concepts. So to say that we don't, run that scheme is that's not true. So I kind of already know how he's going to go about it. So there's no point to ask that question, because if I were to ask him that question personally, that's what he would tell me. So like, I already know that.
I kind of like how you're thinking like a reporter, though. This is what I had to do. All right. So if I ask it this way, this is what I'm going to get. So I need to find another way to ask it to try and get something else.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I know, because I'm also thinking about it from his standpoint as well, because there's a way to look at it from how you're coming about it and how I would ask it too, because it's like there is a change in the run game, right? They have changed the run game to accommodate Jacobs, and there is no doubt about it. I mean, and you said what Tausch just said, they're out of the gun a little bit more, they're out of the pistol a little bit more, because that accommodates a duo style, run game, and it gives the back a little more view of the whole picture, and it clears up some things, and it makes it easier for him. With that, though, it does muddy the water for play action, because it does give the linebackers and it gives the safeties a lot easier view of being able to identify run to pass. Where if he's under center and he's turning around, running more of a zone style, or how we used to run it, or how it originally started with LaFleur, wide outside zone stretch, Aaron or Jordan last year, really running to stretch that ball out to Aaron Jones and getting the entire defense to flow, pulling the ball and then throwing it and getting the entire picture to shift. It's changed. And that's kind of what you're seeing now. I mean, you're not seeing Jordan Love break the pocket too much anymore and boot out and seeing the launch point change as much as it did in the past, right? And that's kind of something that I've seen that's changed a little bit more, which I don't know if it's making Jordan Love disjointed, but it certainly has been something that, at least that I think has been taken away, or hasn't been used as much this season, and it's not like it's a negative because you have Jacobs, right? Like, it's not like, oh man, like you got Jacobs that's a workhorse back that runs for all these yards and he's really good at this style of running, and now you can't run this type of play action because he's not an Aaron Jones type back that just runs outside zone all the time. But it's a part of the original scheme that they don't get to as much anymore, right? And when you get something really good, there's normally something that gets taken away or you don't utilize as much, right? Because if you start just doing crazy wide zone action, defenses aren't buying it because it's not on tape. You haven't run it. So they're not going to fall for it, and they're not going to even think you're doing that. And you can't sell something that's not there. And that was always kind of a complaint with when Mike was coaching and when we were up front, he was asking us to run play action for runs or sell runs that we didn't even have in the game plan for that week. And it was like, well, hey, you want us to block power or do play action power when power's not even up this week. And, it was tough to block when we hadn't even run a power play. So and that's kind of where, there may be some, where that question's coming from. And that's what the whole premise of this offense, and LaFleur said it from day one, is making the run look like the pass and mirroring everything. And so, and that's what and it's, listen, duo play action pass, it is effective, like it does work, but with that, it is a lot easier for the safeties and linebackers to see it. It's very effective for the guys up front to block it, right? To block the front four. But behind that, listen, man, like those guys behind the front four can read that very easy because they're not flying downhill like they normally do when you're selling outside zone. Like it's just the way it goes. So because linebackers and safeties and duo have to be a little bit more patient by nature, because they can't be shooting gaps, because that's what linemen want you to do. They want you to jump a gap in duo because that cuts you out of a block, right? Like, and then Jacobs can make you right. And so they have to be more patient, and that's not good for play action. You want these guys to be antsy and flying downhill in play action. So, like, it's part of the offense that, unfortunately, you give and take with these types of things. So I don't know how you can phrase it. It's a tough question, because I know he's going to say, like, we still utilize that concept and we still do that, which, yeah, I mean, I think they probably do it, but definitely not as much as it's been utilized in the past. And that's, I'm sure if you go back and look at it, I guarantee you it is not, the numbers are not as much as it was from last year, and definitely probably not as much as it was from when Aaron was there. I could definitely guarantee that.
Bryan, here's the conundrum as I see it, and tell me if I'm crazy. Josh Jacobs a great running back. The running game is better this year than it was last year. I think he has been, Aaron Jones, the outside zone, and just a different style, more duo. But a lot of the criticism that has been levied at this passing game and at Matt LaFleur is he was so good at scheming guys open. How many times did you hear that? Oh, he's such a great schemer. Well, he's scheming guys open on first and second down. It wasn't a third down deal. Third down is what it is, right? 3rd and 6, you're going to get certain coverages, certain blitzes. The scheming comes from first and second down. And it comes from getting linebackers and safeties to buy some of that play action pass. That's where you get guys running wide open, not when you're dropping back and running Fox 2XY hook. You're doing it when you're running keeps and you're running boots, and you do that when you're under center and you are running to stretch that football and you're getting that married up. And now you're doing so much duo and you're doing so much stuff that if you go and try to replicate that, you're right. Vic Fangio is going to be, now we're going to sit back, and we're going to play this, and we're going to force you to try and do some things running the football that you don't want. And it feels like Matt LaFleur is stuck in the, I want to continue to run the football, but the play action pass is the juice. That's the stuff that keeps us satiated. And when we can't do that, we don't get the big plays. And that's why you're seeing the passing offense struggle. Tell me where my premise is off.
No, I mean, listen, I don't think you're off, because, like, I really do believe, like, we look at this offense from when I started it and kind of as this thing has gone on and how it's evolved. The big shots, a lot of them do come off play action, and that's just the way this offense has worked. And it's not the Mike McCarthy offense where, a lot of big shots would come off of just,
99 nude
routes and make.
Love the old.
When you're
you love 99 nude. Blue,
yes.
I guarantee you that.
I loved it. But even with that's play action, right? That's a play action play that Mike would call all the time, and Jordy would be wide open running deep down the field. But that's play action. Like, deep shots and big plays come from that. And it's and I said it during, I think I said it to you guys before the Minnesota game. Like, I would like to see more play action early in that first drive. I think they're ranked number 1 running the football in the first quarter or in the first half, whatever that statistic is that they were talking about. I think Green Bay ranks like number 1 with attempts or percentage running the football. I'd like to see more play action mixed into that, because the tendency that all these defenses have is that they're definitely running the football. So if you're able to start mixing in heavy play action within this playoff run now, you're going to throw off these defenses' tendencies and what they're looking for. And you can really confuse secondaries and linebackers with what you're going to do. Because if you just continue, I mean, like we said it, Philly's defense is playing extremely well. They are playing really well. They got great defensive tackles. Their defensive ends are, flying up the field. They're playing really well too. Like, their linebackers are playing at a really high level. They don't give up big shots down the field. So you're going to have to find ways to get intermediate routes in the middle of the field and find ways to. That's the only way you can really get after a Fangio defense, is in the middle of the field. And how you do that is play action, secure the blocks, blocking unit in the, with play action and secure the front and get guys over the middle of the field, because you're not taking shots over the top. Fangio's not allowing you to take shots over the top. He's umbrellaing your offense, and that's what he's been doing this year. So, like, you have to find a way to use what you have. And what I think we have is a very skilled wide receiver group that runs good routes in the middle of the field. Yeah, hey, listen, we got a good tight end. He can run the middle of the field well, too. You're going to take some shots over the middle of the field. That's going to happen, right? Like, and this is playoff football. You got to be ready to go over the middle of the field, and you're going to take some punishment, and Jordan Love's going to have to put the ball at risk at times over the middle of the field with his defense. That's just the nature of it, right? But there's a lot of reward with that as well, because as much as they don't want to get beat over the top, there's some soft spot in the defense, and that is in the middle of it. And that's going to have to be where Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur find the weakness of this thing. But in order to find that, you got to block it up. And that's when you got 6 or 7 guys in play action protection to be able to do that.
All right, Bryan, before we let you go, because we can't let you go at 10:09 because that would be way too early.
Way too early.
When you look at the season Jordan Love has had, Tausch and I were kind of bandying this back and forth yesterday. I don't think he regressed. I don't think he progressed as much as I expected him to. I do think that, as we talked about before the season began, defensive coordinators had 19 games of film on him and had a better idea of how to defend him and did a better job of defending him. How do you view his regular season, knowing that if he does in a couple of postseason games what he did in last year's postseason, especially with what he did against the Cowboys, that will change how we view his season as a whole? But to this point, how do you view his year?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I look at him as that he regressed. I don't look at it that way at all. So I'm with you on that. I don't think he's regressed. You look at the numbers, I guess you could say, yeah, the numbers are lower. I mean, he did miss games. He did play injured. Yep. I don't know how many games he played injured that he couldn't move as well or step into throws I certainly will give him that. I think the addition of Jacobs and what their identity on offense is now certainly impacts his numbers as well, right? And that's not taking a shot at him. Like, they certainly went into this season with a mentality change of what they wanted to be on offense. And when you are a running team, right, and that's what you're going to be identity-wise, that's going to impact the quarterback no matter what. You may be a 4,500-yard passer and you bring in a 1,000-plus yard back. Well, the yards are going somewhere, right? I mean, they're naturally they're getting taken away from the quarterback and the wide receivers, and they're going to go to the back. And, that's just the way it is. So, I don't think he regressed. I think you look at maybe, early on in the season, the interceptions that he threw, I think a lot of that maybe you look at, but I think he's cleaned that up as this season has gone on, and he's gotten a little more into a rhythm and a groove, and he had to kind of get those early season jitters out of him. And we said, and I've said it, I know you guys have said it too, there's still learning curves. And we said that coming into this year, there's still a learning curve for him in this league. Just because he started a year doesn't mean he's all right, it's good, this is a finished product now, he's done. This is no, there's still a lot for him to learn and grow as a starting quarterback in the NFL. And I think his ceiling is very high. I really do. This isn't I understand we went from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love and everyone expects it to be, Aaron Rodgers-esque type football. Let's give him some time to grow and become, who he could be, right? It's not going to be instant Aaron Rodgers, where Aaron was for all those years. This is the second year starting. Let's give it some time. And this is a young football team. And we saw a lot of, as much as I really like our wide receiver group, we saw a lot of inconsistencies throughout the year with the wide receiver group as well. Up and down performances, drops, things of those nature. So we got to look at this thing as a whole. Love obviously had his mistakes. The wide receivers had their mistakes. The O-line had their mistakes in certain games. Like, everyone has their hands in that. And I think Jordan is going to be just fine. I don't think he's regressed. I mean, he goes out and get a playoff win. Do we look at it any different? I don't look at it any different. I think he's played well. Could he have played better? Sure. Yeah, of course. I think any
is he
guy
about
in a
where
season.
Brian, is he about where you thought he'd be at this point in his career? Because he finished, I said last year at the end of the year, he was playing top 2 in the league. He finished the season so good. And then this year, it's been nobody's talking about him for an MVP, or even me, who last year was always a top 3 NFC quarterback. I can't make that claim this year because he's not. Is he about where you hoped he'd be at this point?
You know,
he's not as far as I hoped he'd be. I'll be honest with you. I thought he'd be further than he is at the end of this season.
So the way he ended last year, right, what he went on last year, I think surprised everybody. I mean, I don't think anyone could have predicted how well he played down the stretch last year. I think that took everyone by surprise. It took me by surprise. I certainly didn't expect it.
LaFleur, too.
I also, I mean, like, there's no way anyone could have called that, right? So if you did, I don't believe you. So, like, I'll just say that. So knowing that and seeing how we played, like, I also, in some part of my brain, maybe I'm a pessimist with it, like, expected some sort of minor correction this year just from a second year, right? Like you said, teams get 19 games on him. They've seen him. They've studied him. They're scheming against him. There's some minor correction that could happen. And I think we've seen it. But now, after this year, he's also now seen what teams are doing against him mentally now. So now you get to see what he does whenever this season ends, how he now goes and prepares with an off season, and how he goes through now an OTAs and an undistracted training camp, and what he does now as a third year starter in this league, and how he goes about his business. So, like, again, do I wish he was in that discussion, like, as a top 3 QB in the NFC and all that? Yeah, that'd be great. But, like, I think the trajectory that he's on is just fine. I think he's going to be just fine. I'm not worried about him at all. I think he's going to be just fine. And I think we just got to continue to give him time. Because, like, listen, as much as we love and how great I think he's playing now, like Jared Goff, like, if we would have talked about Jared Goff 4 years ago, would you guys have said, like, I'm done with him? He's nope, moving on from Jared Goff.
Yeah. The Rams did.
By the way, and so did the Rams. They had to give a first-round pick for Detroit to take him.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, and we're seeing from Jordan Love really good play. And for people to say, like, I'm not sure about him, he's regressing. I still think he's playing pretty damn good. And, like, and he's still really young in this league. So, like, I'm not, I understand there's mistakes that happen and we see this and that, but, like, I think he's going to be fine, man. I really do. And I like the way he plays. I think he's only going to get better.
Blue,
Brian,
we're going to find a way. We're going to find a way on Sunday, in your opinion? Or you think
55%. 55% chance.
Well, that's better than – so Philly's only got a 45% chance if my math is correct, right? Is that how that works?
I mean, I guess.
Okay. I'm not a math guy.
I guess.
Brian will be predicting your weather as well and letting you know that there's a 30% chance of snow here in Green Bay and a 0%
we
chance
need some snow
down in Florida.
By the way, we need some snow. We need some snow up here. We do.
Brian, it's always a treat, man. I will talk to you later this week on the Homer Hour. We appreciate you. Thanks.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
That is the great Bryan Bulaga. Speaking of great, when it comes to representation, if you've been injured, Gruber offices are the GOATs. They're the greatest. And if you need their help, there's only one call to make. 414-276-6666, 414-276-6666, or go to the website, Gruber-law.com. Find out more about the firm, the great lawyers that are there, and everything that David and his family do in our communities. Gruber Law Offices, one call. That's all. The 10 o'clock hour starts about when it usually does on Wednesday, in 2 minutes. So stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Are you heading into the new year with the same old joint pain? Or maybe you experienced a new injury that gives you joint pain that is nagging you. Hey, this is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. There is no better time than the start of the year to refresh, renew, and say no to that joint pain. QC Kinetics is your go-to solution to get moving again in 2025. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine and joint preservation. They are right here in Greenfield and Mequon under the leadership of Medical Director Dr. Ashley Caravelli. When I visited the Greenfield location, QC Kinetics exposed me to a whole new world of regenerative medicine. So much in their toolkit to be able to get you your life back. They helped me, and they're going to help you with your own personalized journey to be able to make sure that you are starting 2025 back, active, and living a pain-free life. Call my friends at QC Kinetics for your free consultation. Call QC Kinetics today at 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
It's time for the Marquette Minute on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Wintrust. Get your Golden Eagles essentials by opening Marquette checking from Wintrust today.
The 7th-ranked Golden Eagles rallied from a 14-point first-half deficit to down Georgetown 74-66 at Fiserv Forum. Junior guard Chase Ross led the way with a career-high 27 points to go along with 6 steals and 15 deflections in the victory as MU notched 16 total steals on the night.
Here's a steal by Chase Ross. Will he launch? Yes!
Yes, he will.
Oh, baby! He brought the hammer so good that Tony Smith loved it.
Stevie Mitchell chipped in 13 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 steals of his own. David Joplin added 12 points and 7 rebounds. Marquette improves to 14-2 overall and 5-0 in Big East play. They get a chance to rest up before visiting DePaul on Tuesday.
This has been the Marquette Minute on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Wintrust, Wisconsin's bank, and the official bank of Marquette University.
Marquette Hall of Famer Tony Smith here. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch starts sooner or later, as Matt Carney sings. Right now, all right, Tausch, so we can get back someone on the clock. I just had Zaz, who I think his name is Zach, judging from his Twitter handle, send us this. And again, I don't know what QBR is anymore. I thought ESPN invented that. Didn't they? I think they did, right? They're analytics folks there.
I don't take a ton of stock in that.
And Fox NFL is sharing this graphic, which Zaz in turn shared with you and me and Jesse, but sorry, no Hunter, doesn't know your handle. Aw. NFL's leaders in QBR rating. Remember, this is on a scale of 1 to 100, kind of like your positivity score.
I thought it was
except for on Tausch's.
151.3 or whatever it is. 153.
Number 1, Lamar Jackson, 77.5. Number 2, Josh Allen, 77.2. Number 3, Joe Burrow, 75.0. Number 4, Jaden Daniels, 70.6. And number 5, Jordan Love, 69.2. So do I believe the QBR or do I believe my lion eyes when I say that he didn't progress as much as I expected him to or thought he would?
I think numbers can always be capitulated to fit a narrative if you want. You can find numbers, and sometimes the numbers just stink and you can't find anything. And that obviously isn't the case with Jordan because there's plenty of good numbers to go along with it, but the big thing from my perspective is, has he put together a really good chunk of great football? No. He has been consistent. I think what I love about this season from his perspective, he's had to fight through adversity. He's had to play less than 100%. He's had to lead his football team. And what I really like is he struggled turning the football over in the beginning of this season.
He did.
He had a big chunk where it was turnover, pick, fumble, all the stuff. And he righted that ship. He has seen, with Aaron Rodgers being there before, the importance of being able to protect the football. And he's righted that ship for the most part in the back half of this season. Those things I'm very impressed with. As far as accurately throwing the football and being able to do things, I think one of the things that he was so good at last year was making plays with his feet, running the football. And I haven't prize picked him rushing. How many big chunks has he made running the football? And part of that could be, my knee's bad, I had a groin. And that adds another layer to some of these open throws and some other things. I'm not sure how much people fear Jordan getting out of the pocket and running. So there's a compilation of a ton of things. I am not discouraged by where Jordan Love is. I think I maybe jumped the gun a little bit last year, being excited about what we saw at the end. He was that good, probably unfairly. Hey, welcome to being the QB at a G&G where we've seen Hall of Fame play for 30 years. This is what you get. Mm-hmm. You know what you're signing up for. You're getting paid $55 million. Doesn't mean it's fair, but as we talked about with the young Wildes and with Noah Eagle, life ain't always fair. You take advantage of the opportunities you're given. Jordan has done that, and I expect him to continue to grow. Would I have loved to have seen better, more consistent play throughout this season? Absolutely. But there's underlying circumstances that play a part in that, and I think Jordan's had to weather and learn. And he's going to come out of this season, whenever that is, because I think he is going to learn a lot from how he had to handle and deal with some of the adversity he's had this year.
Bryan kept saying he's going to be just fine. Did anything that played out this year give you pause in thinking he's going to be great?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was thinking about as well.
I think when I look at it, and I know that was your attempt at teasing, which I love, by the way. I love. I will come back, and what I think the question is, he has shown consistently that he can be really good. He's had spurts of being blanket awesome. What are we going to see more of moving into the future? What do we want to see more of? Like there's a give and a take. A lot of people, myself included, didn't like all those picks. We love that whip and throw, and I saw the stat, hardest thrown football ever with the Houston Texans dude reaching, and it just missed his fingers because he threw the bullet in there.
61 miles an hour.
Some would say a wow throw. We love that, but then we don't love it when it gets tipped up and it gets pick sixed. Those are the give and takes. What do we want? And it really is the Favre-Rodgers shoulder. And that's really what this is.
It is. So answer that question after you tell us about Coors Light.
Brewed with a 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filtered, and it is cold packaged, so it's made to chill. And make sure that those mountains on Coors Light's cold activated bottles and cans are blue. That's when you know it is chilled to perfection. That's why it is always Coors Light in my hand when I need a moment to chill. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
He's going to be just fine. Is he going to be great? We'll talk a little more about that next. It's Wilde And Tausch.
This is Wilde And Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. The best source for every piece of NFL news you need to know.
That's the idea of a deal. Each side gets wins, right? They have Jordan Love under contract for the next 5 years.
ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter is on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy every Wednesday morning at 7:30. Sponsored by Island Resort and Casino.
I think Packers fans would sign up for 12-5 today, and maybe they will be.
Right here on 94.5 ESPN, and also streaming live on the Wisconsin On Demand app and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Kevin Moret for Mentality. Most new Mentality clients are stuck running on just 1/3 of the free testosterone they need, and that's why nothing feels right. You're drained, frustrated, and stuck in a body that won't respond to diet or exercise. But it's not your fault. Mentality's doctors specialize in fixing the imbalance. When your free testosterone is restored, everything changes. Your strength, your energy, and drive all come roaring back. Start the year strong with our New Year's offer at mentalityhealth.com/radio. That's mentalityhealth.com/radio.
Winning in the NFL comes down to the basics, blocking and tackling. In retirement, the certainty of protection and income are the keys to success. And as a former NFL player myself, I have experience with both. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons. Having played on winning teams with the Steelers and Falcons, studying game films helped me mentally prepare for the challenges ahead. Now I star in a new Hollywood documentary called The Retirement Deception to help you visualize and prepare for your fourth quarter of life. You see, you don't retire on your nest egg, but rather the income it can produce. This film shows you exactly how to protect your retirement from stock market drops and produce more income than you thought possible. And it's free for you to view. Call 855-620-1801 right now for your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Don't risk your retirement savings at the goal line. You don't need to be risky to have a winning strategy. Call today to speak with an all-pro retirement specialist to get your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Call today. 855-620-1801. That's 855-620-1801. MitchLyonsWealth.com. Your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
It started with a prediction.
We'll go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
UW Credit Union presents the Student Athlete of the Week, supporting local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. UW Credit Union is here for every you. Learn more at uwcu.org. Here's Ashton Rotman with the UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week.
This week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week is Wisconsin Lutheran boys basketball player Isaiah Mellock. The 6'2 senior guard spent his sophomore and junior seasons making a big impact on the varsity squad while coming off the bench mostly, but he was a part of last season's state title team. This year, however, the Vikings starting combo guard is showcasing his talent. Mellock is averaging over 12 points a game and is shooting 50% from beyond the arc, helping Wisconsin Lutheran to an undefeated start this season. That, of course, including big wins at the Rick Majerus WBY shootout, where he put up 18 points in a win over Marquette and earned MVP. Off the court, Isaiah boasts a 3.5 GPA and is looking to continue his basketball career once he graduates. Congratulations to this week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, Isaiah Mellock.
Here in Wisconsin, one name is synonymous with fantastic frozen pizza, Palermo's. For almost 60 years, Palermo's has focused on feeding Wisconsin families. And though Palermo's has grown a lot since 1964, they're still family-owned. They're still proud to call Milwaukee home. And they're still committed to making the best frozen pizza possible. From their new and improved rising crust pizzas to their guilt-free Primo thin pies, Palermo's has a delicious slice for every appetite. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer food aisle. Palermo's, flavor is our family's business.
You're listening to Wilde And Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
What a DJ that Hunter Vaughn is. We need to get ready for Uncle Homer, but Tausch just going to be fine? He's going to be just fine? Or he's going to be great? We are not holding either of us to this prediction. It's just where things stand now, because I do think there was a lot of crowning going on last year after the way he played in the second half. I give Dan Orlovsky a hard time, but he was leading the band, and I saw him on television the other day, not sounding quite as bullish on the Packers quarterback as he had been previously. So what say you?
I still think he can be great. He has all of the characteristics that you're looking for. Arm talent. I think he works his tail off. I think he's got everything you need. the question that I still have, and I think that you can be very, I guess, independently critical of, is it's always going to come down to accuracy with Jordan. And when he is humming and really in a great rhythm, he's as good as there is. But there are spells where he misses throws or he is not as accurate as you'd like to see. And we've seen a little bit of that. And again, there's a lot of reasons for that. He was not as accurate this year as he was at the back half of last year. And I think part of that is, potentially injury related. I think part of it too is you haven't had those easy gimme throws as early in games as you've seen in the past. And if that you want to delve into the play action pass and Josh Jacobs and all that, that is
right,
all
like
fair game to look at. Mm-hmm. That, I think, can be another thing that I'm sure when the Packers season ends, they're going to take a long, hard look and try to figure out how do we balance the play action and getting Jordan out in space moving. And when he's healthy enough, maybe part of it is he's not as healthy as he'd want to be able to do all that. I don't know all those answers. All I know is he's had a ton of success on bootlegs and on movement and moving in the pocket. It's not as easy as just putting it in his chest, faking, and then trying to make throws. That is the most difficult part about being quarterback in this league. It's easier when you get out in space and you get into a rhythm. And I don't think we've gotten into a rhythm soon enough in some of these critical football games. And if that happens Sunday, I'd put that percentage down in the 10%. If you don't find a way to get into a rhythm early in that game, I think Philly could make it ugly.
Well, if they beat the Eagles and you need a little extra money to then head to Detroit for the divisional round, Fortrea's got you covered.
They do. A bunch of studies. Head to FortreaClinicalTrials.com, and we got one for healthy men, ages 18 to 60, BMI 18 to 32. Study involves one stay, 16 nights, and a follow-up. Compensation is $8,075. Plus, you refer a friend, you get another $200 per qualified referral. I also have one. Healthy adults, ages 18 to 60. Women can be of childbearing potential. Body mass index of 18.5 to 30. Study is one stay, 11 nights, 2 follow-ups, and $7,104 in your pocket. Head to FortreaClinicalTrials.com. That's Fortrea, Fortrea, clinicaltrials.com.
Uncle Homer is next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcast for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Many times, patients have symptoms they didn't know were actually related to their airway breathing issues.
I was suffering from sinus issues, jaw issues, and neck pain. I guess I just kind of had my breaking point.
Unfortunately, this is typical. But until you get to the root of your problem, it's going to just persist. Fortunately, Jody took action, and the results were typical as well.
My quality of life is so different. But one of the first things that I noticed was my breathing. I don't ever remember being able to breathe like that.
Being able to breathe freely is life-changing, and the effects can go beyond that.
Sleeping better, having more energy, and it seemed as if all of those symptoms that I had just melted away.
And thank heavens for that, because at Advent, results are what drive us, helping you breathe well so you can live better.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted. Your current car, soon to be your old car. A new car? Better start looking. But you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with free credit score and score monitoring on most new consumer checking accounts. Because when you know you need to make a big purchase, knowing your credit score puts you in the driver's seat. You've got this with free credit monitor from Associated Bank. See AssociatedBank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Hi, this is Michelle Voskel, CPA and team member of the Neal Group. I have a question for you business owners. What does your CPA do for you? We have signed on several new business clients who have told us the same story. They can never get hold of their CPA. Does this sound like you? Phone calls are not returned and questions are never answered. You don't get any advice to help you run your business? Not at the Neal Group. We usually return phone calls and emails the same day. We are advocates and partners with our clients to help them grow, not just record history. Do you want to grow your business, improve cash flow, have less stress, and live a better life? We can help. Call us at 414-325-2025 2040 or visit neilgroup.net to schedule a meeting to tell us your story and see if we can help. The first meeting is free. Don't wait, do it now. That's 414-325-2040 or nealgroup.net.
It's time for the Marquette Minute on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Wintrust. Get your Golden Eagles essentials by opening Marquette checking from Wintrust today.
The 7th-ranked Golden Eagles rallied from a 14-point first-half deficit to down Georgetown 74-66 at Fiserv Forum. Junior guard Chase Ross led the way with a career-high 27 points to go along with 6 steals and 15 deflections in the victory, as MU notched 16 total steals on the night.
Here's a steal by Chase Ross. Will he launch? Yes!
Yes, he will.
Oh, baby! He brought the hammer so good that Tony Smith loved it.
Stevie Mitchell chipped in 13 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 steals of his own. David Joplin added 12 points and 7 rebounds. Marquette improves to 14-2 overall and 5-0 in Big East play. They get a chance to rest up before visiting DePaul on Tuesday.
This has been the Marquette Minute on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Wintrust, Wisconsin's bank, and the official bank of Marquette University.
Ready for a win? Well, it's your year. At Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you can win over $2,000 in free play every month all year long. Just play your favorite games and you might take the stage in the It's Your Year game show. 25 winners each Thursday. There's $300,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs this January. Yeah, we think it's your year. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old to play.
Uncle Homer on Wilde and Tausch is brought to you by Johnson & Sons Paving. Potholes are a pain when they pop up in your asphalt. Johnson & Sons Paving can patch or replace the whole lot. Book an appointment now at johnsonsonspaving.com.
Whatever you do, make sure you do it right. Whatever you do, make sure you do it right. You're making love or starting the schoolyard fight. Make sure you do it right.
You know what that music means. He is the voice of Marquette men's basketball, which I'm sure Hunter listens to every word he utters because he loves the Golden Eagles and their win last night over Georgetown. You also hear him on the Homer Hour. It's 60 minutes, best 60 minutes of your day. Trying to get that cut down to 30, but we'll see what happens. Every weekday on ESPN Milwaukee and ESPN Beaver Dam, and of course on God Talk with Homer and Pip. It is Steve the Homer. True Homer, good morning. How are you?
I'm awesome because John Anderson last night said, it's nice to hear Duke Tomato and the All-Star Frogs, meaning he must have experienced him at some point in his life, and I can't wait to ask him about that next week.
Wow. I didn't know anybody knew them other than you.
Well, he went to, Duke Tomato was famous for kind of southern Midwest and went down probably St. Louis. So I'm not surprised. But I look forward to what he says when he finds out that Duke wrote a song for me. So anyway,
he'll be very impressed. Speaking of Marquette, Hunter is a big Marquette fan. Are we still following this rule that you came up with that we don't talk about Marquette when you're on, or can Hunter ask you a question about his Golden Eagles? What are we doing here?
They are the 6th-ranked team in the country.
Uh-huh.
And Chase Ross has a new nickname, the Rocket, because Tony Smith has complained that at times he just needs to launch to the basket and stuff it on anybody. And if you're going to launch, then you got to be the Rocket. So
you didn't answer the question.
I just gave you all you need to know about Marquette.
He kind of answered it by answering it. That means yes.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that what he just
short?
He just answered?
No, he just literally said, I told you everything you need to know about Marquette, which would indicate he's not open to questions from Hunter. All right.
No, we're done. Yeah.
Yeah, see?
No, we're not going to. No more. go.
I don't.
Packers. Has Tausch changed his mind from not doing 100 to doing 1 to 10? Like, I'm trying to.
I like 1 to
out.
10 better. It's just it's more crystal clear.
Fine, but if
1 to
you're
10.
then all you have to do is pick a 1 to 10, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You got mad at somebody yesterday, who was it, about gifts and saying you're just making things more difficult, when in fact you are doing exactly that. Fine, do 100. Every one of Tausch will be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Do you have any explanation other than just wanting to be difficult?
Just wait a second. Somebody that has told me for years not to tell you how to think is now telling me how I should think. Just so we're on the same page.
I'm asking you. I didn't say this is why Tausch did it. No, I'm asking you to do that. You can say yes or no. I didn't say.
I said no.
In fact, I said I'm trying to figure out why he would do that unless he wants to be difficult. I gave you an opening to, in fact, explain why, because I would never assume I know, but I can make a suggestion. Why did you do this?
If you would listen, I just told you it makes it simpler. Listen. That's why.
Okay, and I thought I explained how it makes it nothing simpler, and you can, in fact, keep the people
it does
happy.
make it simpler. Okay, listen.
Okay,
whoa.
right, good.
I'm not going to get caught up in this semantics.
This is way better than Marquette talk. You're right.
Homer, where are you at? Can Green Bay go 1 to 10? 10 being, yes, they're going into Philly and whooping them. Where are you at on the 1 to 10 scale?
I have to pick 5 because I'm at 48. But if I have to go 4 or 5, 48 is closer to 5.
If you go 4.8, that would be 4.8 out of 10 would be better. That would.
That is so good. That is so good.
So it's less than a coin toss.
Go 1 to 10, but you can do the point. Yes, I will go, in honor of Tausch, 4.8.
Okay. See, I'm not telling you how to think.
I'm just letting
you go.
You literally told him to go with the point thing just now.
1 to 10. But because he said 48, 4.8.
Jason, move on.
Why is it?
Move on. I believe Cooper is the key to the game and must be the difference. If you know, 2 games ago, the Packers had 8 tackles for loss and he had 4. I think they need to have 4 tackles for loss to win the game. He's the key. They have the ability to limit the run solely because of his presence. And he's young, so there's no way I can guarantee. If he was if he was older, I would be at 51%. Or, 5.1. But he's young, and like the last game, he had a pure shot at Williams. They win the game if Cooper makes that play. I don't know how he missed Williams. Nobody blocked him. Can you explain that?
I can't. And other than to say he's young and he still makes mistakes, which is why they are trying so hard to find the sweet spot between having him on the field the maximum amount of times so he can make those splash plays while not having him out there where he gets exposed and makes a game-turning mistake. He's grown a lot, but you could tell by the way the coaches talk about him that they still have some reservations about the mistakes that he tends to make. Speaking of mistakes, we just asked Brian Bulaga this, and Tausch and I were talking about it. Do you think Jordan Love has regressed or just not progressed as much as you expected him to?
I think he's the same. He had that incredible streak. He's not that good, but so we haven't. That streak will go down maybe, and Rodgers had some of them too, but he's not as good as that streak. That was a hot streak, and he's been the same. The reason it's hard for me to focus on Jordan Love is I don't get this, and I will defer to both of you. When you have an improved running game, by definition, that's supposed to make your passing game easier. That's the way it's been for 100 years in the NFL. And now we have this situation, and I haven't yet, and I'm hoping to hear the answer to explain it. They're running the ball better, and it's made the passing game worse. That would appear to be the case. Everybody agrees with that premise, or is the premise wrong? Because if the premise is correct, then somebody's got to explain that to me. I've never experienced that in my life. Generally, you want to have your running game better because your quarterback isn't as good. I have stated for years that you run the ball so you can pass better. Passing is by far the most important. The only reason you run is to help the passing game, not the other way around. But now teams are running it a little bit more because of the defenses. But one, is my premise correct? We all agree that the passing game is worse and the running game is better, right?
Definitely the last couple of weeks. I can't
argue
that.
All right. How can that be?
So we just talked with Bulaga.
I did.
And I think
listened to it.
We summed this up this way. I think obviously you have some injuries. You don't have Romeo Doubs. Watson's been unavailable. That changes some of the passing game. But the play-action pass is not the weapon that it was. And it should be. I agree with you. But the system and what Matt LaFleur has kind of gotten his teeth set on was that stretch zone and the bootlegs and everything else. And now with Josh Jacobs, there's more double teams, more shotgun pistol, where you let him read, make his one cut, and get vertical. It's not as easy to play action pass out of the shotgun as it is under center. It feels like that's what Matt LaFleur, Josh Jacobs, Steno, the offense feels like is their best thing. That's what they do well, running it. And they've not abandoned, but have yet to figure out how to mesh that part with that running game, and it doesn't marry up. And that's why I think they're struggling in that pass game, because the play-action pass, unless somebody can tell me stats different, especially these last 2 weeks, it has not been the weapon that it's been in the past. That's how.
Then they never should have made the trade.
What trade?
Then for LaFleur, Jones is a better running back than Jacobs. Never should have made the deal. What's the point of having
Jones
the running
been
game
hurt.
better?
Jacobs has been. It can't. Hey, Homer. I actually am not going to admonish you like I did with your idiotic take. Did you ever ask Jason about that? We'll get to that at the end of the show or end of your segment. But no.
By the way, I claim that
Homer.
Every time I ever talk with you, every time in the future, you will bring that up. Not 90% of the time. Oh, excuse me, not 9 out of 10.
I'm not going to be 100.
Every
it won't
time
be 100.
I talk with you.
It won't
we'll
be.
See. Right, it's still at 100.
I promise you it won't be 100%.
Okay.
So you want to bring in the best players that are young. You want that, and it's up to you as coaches to figure out how to meld these parts together. It's not as easy as just saying, he's really good at this.
Right. Then it's all
it is on the floor. I totally agree. I agree with that premise.
All right.
What was the question that he was supposed to ask me?
He did not ask you how many offensive linemen in your 28 years you've covered this team have been on the punt cover team.
I don't know the answer to that. I guess I would have to go back into my archives and look. Who are you referencing?
But you at least have to look. I assumed that there were always like two offensive linemen to help prevent the punt from being blocked. Tausch made fun of me and said, "You're crazy," and I could be. I didn't dispute the premise because I am proud that I know nothing about the punt groupings. By the way, as an aside, have they decided what the problem was on that punt? Was it the problem of the punter punting the ball in the wrong direction, or that everybody other than the punter on the punt team screwed up? Which is it?
So we are going to talk to your guy, because I know you enjoy him as much as I do, Rich Bisaccia, tomorrow, and ask
overrated, overpaid coach in the NFL.
That's what I was setting the stage for you to say. But my understanding as of now is that he called a left punt. He punted a left punt. I have never been on the punt coverage team, but the Bears, with the way they blocked it and with the way DJ Moore pretended that he was getting ready to catch it, the guys running down the field with their hair on fire were duped into thinking that Daniel Whelan had kicked the ball to the right instead, They fell for the banana in the tailpipe. They all ran toward DJ Moore, even though Daniel Whelan told them he was punting it left.
Yeah, you could fire the special teams coach on that.
Now, let me finish.
You can tell.
Let me finish, because I know you'd love to get in there. Both in the 2011 example, when the Bears pulled this off with Johnny Knox, and on Sunday when they pulled it off successfully without a holding penalty to wipe it out, you can see the punter. Tim Masthay in 2011 and Daniel Whelan on Sunday, they know where the ball went. They are positioning themselves to try and tackle Johnny Knox or whoever the dude was that returned it. And Daniel Whelan gets blocked. Tim Masthay makes one of the greatest efforts to tackle a returner unsuccessfully. I mean, he dives, like fall out parallel to the ground, trying to get him before he gets to the end zone. So they knew where they kicked the ball. But the Bears, in both instances, completely fooled the rest of the 10 guys on the field into thinking it went the opposite direction.
All right. First of all, I know the other one failed because it was offsides, right? When they did
Holding.
it in 2000. Whatever.
Holding.
All right.
Yep.
Here's the second point, which is the grounds on which I might fire him. Have they ever, as a punt team, addressed what is to be done if the punter doesn't punt the ball where he's expected to, right? So you break the huddle and it's going to be punt left, right? Everybody knows where it's going to be punt, right? Correct?
Correct. Unless he mishits it.
They must have something, because a punter, as great as they are, at some point probably punts the ball in the wrong place. What is the team, and has the team been told if that's the case? Does the punter yell? Something has to be done so that everybody going down the field doesn't go in the wrong place, right? So he's supposed to punt it
So
left.
you're saying like the Peter call that they do when they're telling guys to get away from the ball.
Whatever. I'm saying I'm the special teams coach, and yes, right now they get better. So what do we do on a punt? Well, the punter yells. There has to be a procedure. Whatever that procedure was, after Whelan punted, he didn't do it. And so every player on that team was an idiot, and that, when every player screws up, Tausch will agree, when every player screws up on a play, an offensive play, it's not on the coach. I mean, it's not on the players. It's on the coach. When a few people mess up, when everybody messes up, that's on the coach. They clearly have either a horrific plan, never addressed it, or every player was stupid, right? I mean, every one of them.
So every player was stupid. We are firing Rich Bisaccia. Is that your position?
Yes, on any situation. Ask Tausch. Tausch, have you ever had an offensive play?
Yes, let's ask Tausch.
Everybody messed up. No, because it's the same way. Have you ever had an offensive play where everybody on the offense messed up except the quarterback?
No.
Or except the player? No. And if it happened, who would everybody on the team blame?
Whoever was, if the center didn't snap the ball and everybody moved, it would be the center. There's always someone that you could look at and pin the blame on, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah. And if everybody ran the one play and it goes the other way, you'd say the coach told us wrong. Should the Packers have a play, and do teams have a play, that when the punter doesn't punt in the right place, all the people know where to go and how to adjust? Otherwise, this would happen all the time unless a punter always punts the ball exactly where it's supposed to go.
You know what would have been good here, Homer? If they would have put 6 offensive linemen out there, they would have been too slow to get down, and they couldn't have fallen for that because they wouldn't have been down there fast enough to take the banana in the tailpipe.
Excellent. I agree with you 10. I agree with you 10 out of 10. Or no, I agree 9.8 out of 10. I'm sorry. There's a little me that
close to 10.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
perfect.
there you go.
All right. I assume you have God talk to record, so we should let you go.
No, I don't. Actually, I don't today.
Oh,
but I
okay.
do want to know my theory on the punter. Jason, you've been quiet. Is there something wrong with my analysis of what the procedure should be or must exist?
For someone that hates, hold up
punt?
a second. For somebody that hates punting as much as you do and thinks it's irrelevant, You just spent
Correct.
10 minutes talking about punting.
Right, because we have I appreciate
why?
great.
Doesn't matter.
I appreciate
You always say it
greatness.
doesn't matter.
Let me answer.
All right.
I appreciate greatness, and I believe we have, well, I thought LaFleur went to as well, a level of stupidity by the Packer punt team that I must admit and be curious about how you can be that horrible. For example, if the entire team went out there and didn't have a helmet on, while I don't think helmets are that important, I would bring it up because it's so incredibly hard to comprehend. And I don't know that anybody, because there are other issues, has brought up the issue of this punt play. It seems to have gone in the background, and it shouldn't. It should be up front, just like the historically stupid decision of Matt LaFleur, who found a way, when flipping a coin, having heads and tails, and still lose. So, that's my answer to your question. Has the punting thing been...
You know what I'll answer to you?
Yes.
We're on to Philly. That's what I would say. That was a preseason game. We're on to Philly.
All right. Okay, bye. Thanks.
Yep. That's where we're at.
Okay. I always love his departures almost as much as you and he love Prize Picks.
It is the best place to get real money sports action. Over 10 million members, billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to everybody. And now you got playoff football, man. You got college, you got pros, you got NBA. You got it all going. And you can win up to 1,000 times your cash right now on the #1 daily fantasy sports app. And I just said playoff time, win 1,000 times, and now Prize Picks offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money using your sports opinions. Hey, if you think Lamar Jackson's going to go big, you think Josh Allen, and you think Jordan Love's not going to play well, you don't. Use what your sports opinions are and go get a little cash. Download the app today. Use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today. Use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play that first $5 lineup. Prize Picks.
Run
your
game. More Wilde and Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. Even when you think you know what's going on, you can never be too sure.
I'm comfortable in saying this. This was the biggest waste of a season in Wisconsin sports history. This is worse than Ray Rhodes.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
But without Giannis, I have a hard time saying that.
Well, then give me a comparable. What was worse? Give me a worse season.
Chewy, that's easy. That's so easy.
What?
2011 Packers.
Mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Ready to tackle your home improvement project this winter? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. As a 5-time President's Club Award winner, Exterior Pros is not playing around. With flexible financing, it's never been easier to invest in your home without breaking the bank. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation today.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Tri-City National Bank offers a full suite of personal and business banking products at 28 convenient locations. Open your account today at the community bank that was voted Milwaukee's best bank. Learn more at tcnb.com.
Starting quarterback Jordan Love and his backup Malik Willis were both injured in Sunday's loss to the Bears. Love landed on his elbow during the game, but could have went back in, while Malik Willis banged up his thumb, but did stay in the game. Head coach Matt LaFleur spoke with the media and said that he's not sure if either quarterback will be limited in practice this week.
I talked to both of those guys. They seem to be doing all right, but as far as their limits, I think they're going to be okay, but we'll find out over the next 2 days.
The team's first injury report of the week will be released today as the Packers prepare for their matchup with the Eagles Sunday in Philadelphia. Kickoff is at 3:30.
This has been your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Tri-City National Bank.
family's bigger? Out of space? We can help you find a new place. Just make Tri-City your first call. We are here to help, loan large or small. Tri-City National Bank, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 433891.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
The green and gold and playoff football. Are you going to be ready come game time? HD TVs in every room. Check. Green and gold flag out front. Check. Grill ready to fire up. Check. Chips, dips, cheesehead. Check, check, check. Now the real planning begins. A trip to Discount Liquor to complete your own personal playoff party. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. Is beer on the menu? We'll set you up with your favorite or recommend something new. We have over 2,000 to choose from. What about liquor? Our variety is unmatched, as is our selection of wine. So if you want it, we've got it. Discount Liquor is your personal playoff party headquarters. Discount Liquor has everything you need, all at the lowest prices in town. Come see us today at 51st in Oklahoma and Milwaukee, and on Barstow and Main in downtown Waukesha. Open daily 9 to 9 and Sundays 10 to 2.
Discount Liquor.
Looking for a totally rad flavor adventure, bro chachos? Look no further than Surfer Boy Pizza as seen in Stranger Things. Each mouth-watering variety contains rich tomato sauce, delicious mozzarella cheese, and a gnarly range of toppings. The crust is crispy on the outside and airy on the inside. You'll think it was hand-tossed by the Surfer Boy Pizza dudes themselves. Look for it in the freezer aisle at your local store and buckle up your taste buds with Surfer Boy Pizza.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
You're listening to Wilde And Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Tausch, in an effort to get us back on the clock again, because, we're always playing catch-up after we keep Bryan Bulaga for an extended period of time, I am going to defer to you, and out of respect and admiration, on a scale of 1 to 10...
Admiration. Okay.
Yeah, I have both of those for you. I mean, you drive me blanket nuts once in a while, too, but it's a balance. So, out of respect for you, I will alter my spectrum to a scale of 1 to 10. But here's the question I want you. Here's the question that I want you to ponder, and then we'll address to start the 11 o'clock hour.
Sam Ponder.
Christian Ponder. Christian Watson. Tom Watson. Tom Oates. If in the next 3 days, obviously I'll be at Lambeau today, tomorrow, and Friday, and then they'll depart Saturday for Philadelphia. You are, on your positivity scale of 1 to 10, you are a 5. What can I glean from my time with Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love and everybody else today, tomorrow, and Friday that will elevate your score? I want you to think about that. Tell me what that answer is to kick off the 11 o'clock hour, and tell me now what you got going on with American Family Insurance.
All right. It is the season of giving, Badger fans, and this year you can double your impact for the thousands of children that receive top-notch care at the American Family Children's Hospital. And Sarah and I, we have teamed up with American Family Insurance to raise funds for the American Family Children's Hospital virtual toy drive. We only have, what is today, the 8th? We have until the 17th to get to our goal. All proceeds go towards therapeutic play supplies for pediatric patients. And American Family Insurance is matching donations up to $50,000. We are close. We are very close. So if you have it in you, visit amfam4kids.org. That 4 is a number 4, not spelled out. So it's amfam4kids.org to donate today.
Maybe this will change it in the other direction, but I think you and I were both anticipating this. Tim McManus of ESPN.com. Jalen Hurts is practicing today per Nick Sirianni. Not a surprise. But, well, I think there were some Packers fans that were getting their hopes up a little bit that it was going to be Kenny Pickett instead. Probably not going to be
Kenny
the
Pickett,
case.
it's 8 out of 10.
Or 80.
And my 43 goes up as well. All right, what other than Kenny Pickett playing instead of Jalen Hurts can raise Tausch's 5 higher about the Packers' positivity scale of them beating the Eagles? We'll find out what else could be on the list to kick off the 11 o'clock hour. That happens in 2 minutes. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Looking for the most popular answer. What's the worst thing about Wisconsin winters? Gina Della from Pella.
Finding a sitter when snow closes school. Yay! It's the time of the year when we just want to be all warm and snuggly at home. And Pella helps make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. With inviting doors to let friends and family in and beautiful, energy-efficient windows to keep the cold out. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply.
UW Credit Union presents the Student Athlete of the Week, supporting local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. UW Credit Union is here for every you. Learn more at uwcu.org. Here's Ashton Rotman with the UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week.
This week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week is Wisconsin Lutheran boys basketball player Isaiah Mellock. The 6'2 senior guard spent his sophomore and junior seasons making a big impact on the varsity squad while coming off the bench mostly, but he was a part of last season's state title team. This year, however, the Vikings starting combo guard is showcasing his talent. Mellock is averaging over 12 points a game and is shooting 50% from beyond the arc, helping Wisconsin Lutheran to an undefeated start this season. That, of course, including big wins at the Rick Majerus WBY shootout, where he put up 18 points in a win over Marquette and earned MVP. Off the court, Isaiah boasts a 3.5 GPA and is looking to continue his basketball career once he graduates. Congratulations to this week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, Isaiah Mellock.
Football season. Best time of the year and my favorite time of the year. This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. On game days, my favorite teammate is a cold carbless in my hand. Premium cocktails in a can made right here in the great state of Wisconsin. Maybe it's when I'm at the tailgate ahead of kickoff or getting ready at home for the game. Carbless is there. 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and gluten-free. Carbless features classic cocktails like margarita, Paloma, and even Moscow Mule, and vodka cocktail flavors like cranberry, lemon, and peach. Find it on your next grocery trip. Carbless. Less is more.
Gabe Neitzel here. Catch Jen, Gabe, and Chewy mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch begins now. Now, to be clear, Jalen Hurts is practicing today per Nick Sirianni, but that is still part of the concussion protocol. He has to be able to get through that without any after effects from his concussion. It will have been, if he plays on Sunday, as Tausch and I expects, 21 days since he played.
It's a long time.
I believe he suffered that concussion on the second series of the game against Washington. So that's a very long time to not play.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be very curious to see where the rust versus rest might stand. All right, that's Nick Sirianni's talking now. The Packers will start practice at 11:55. So I'll be wrapping up our program, so I won't be there. But then we'll have Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love talking later today, coordinators and Matt LaFleur tomorrow, and then obviously Friday they'll wrap up their work week before they leave on Saturday. So Tausch, what do you want to hear? What are there certain players, Quay Walker being healthy enough to play, Evan Williams being healthy enough to play, Matt LaFleur saying that he's hired someone to help him with his end-of-game clock management. What do you need to hear this week to increase your 5 to a 6 or a 7 on your positivity scale of them winning?
I'd love to hear the health of Evan Williams, that he's back and better than ever. That would be at top of list for me. I think, obviously there's not going to be Jair and no Watson, and that's been, unfortunately at the back end of this season, kind of what we've, it's been that's just been the way it is. Romeo Doubs being healthy and ready to go will help kind of spur some of that on. But I don't think my mind is going to change all that much. I have not been in the doldrums of, oh my God, we lost to Chicago, we stink. I've not felt that way.
Well, then
I
you'd be
feel
at
like
2.
this is who we are. We're 17 games in. We're a good, not great team. And good, not great teams don't typically win Super Bowls. Now, if you're good and you get hot and your quarterback plays dynamite, you're going to have one of these games. Jordan Love's going to have to be dynamite. Is it going to be this week versus Philly, or will it need to be against Detroit next week? I don't know. But in order to go on one of these magical sleigh rides, that's what you have to do. And this might be the week. This might be the week where it all comes crumbling down and we look at it and say, we're just not good enough this year. That is entirely possible. But outside of the Evan Williams component to this, even if Quay Walker is back playing, I'm not sure I'm viewing this as, oh, boy, we need that. I just don't know if I'm there. So Evan Williams is probably, and Romeo Doubs would be the two pieces of info that might click it up a little bit more, but I ain't going much further than 50-50 as far as my views on this football game, because I think Philadelphia has put together a better resume this season. They found ways to win some of these close games, and they've been more dominant than the Green Bay Packers in their wins. So all in all, I think this is going to be a really difficult game. It's going to be tough on both sides. And whoever makes fewer mistakes is probably who's going to win. And the fact that Jalen Hurts has missed 21 days and is probably going to be a little sloppy is going to be a big advantage to Green Bay. But unfortunately, Green Bay, as Matt LaFleur has pointed out many times, they're sloppy. Who's going to be less sloppy? This probably isn't going to be a who's going to be better, all this. It's who's less sloppy. Playoff games are typically won by the team that makes fewer mistakes. There's not the talent gap and the big splits that you have when you play a New Orleans Saints team or some of the other games that Green Bay has played where they're just better. Typically that doesn't happen in the playoffs. It's who converts on a critical third or fourth down. Who doesn't make a big mistake and give up a big play. That is typically what happens, and I would say Philadelphia has proven throughout the year that they've been better at that than Green Bay.
My question is, Matt LaFleur did not sound super positive when I asked him about Evan Williams on Monday. If he doesn't play, are they good enough in the back end to be able to handle Devontae Smith and to be able to handle A.J. Brown? I feel like maybe that's a aspect of this matchup. We've talked a lot about Saquon Barkley already this week. We've talked a lot about Jalen Hurts coming out of the concussion protocol. I don't know if, and they've gotten their tight end Goddard back. I'm a little bit apprehensive about the Packers' ability to cover. Is that unreasonable for me to feel that way, especially if they don't have Evan Williams?
No, you should feel that way, even with Evan Williams.
Okay.
That's going to be the tough part, because you can't just sit back in a two-shell and expect to stop Saquon and Jalen Hurts in the running game. You have to get creative. You have to stop that.
Pick your poison.
When you do that, you're going to put A.J. Brown, you can't just say, let's go man-to-man and let's go to work. He's too good. And then you wonder, well, if they're going to go and do that, do they have somebody that can stop Devontae Smith? Well, he's pretty good too. And then you factor in, well, Dallas Goedert's a pretty good tight end. That's the problem. They're a good team. They are going to have different options to counter what you're doing. And when you have all that, and you factor in you have a really good running quarterback that can put stress on your run defense, that's why they're good. And they're almost automatic on fourth and shorts. With that plunge, the whole Philly plunge.
The brotherly shove.
So it is a monster challenge, but I'm telling you, this defense is better than what we saw last year. They're a better group. They're going to have to create chaos. That is going to be the ticket. If it is going to be allowed to be we're just going to sit back and read and react, it ain't going to be pretty. Jeff Hafley's brought in here to be aggressive and to make the opponent make mistakes. That's what's going to be on the line on Sunday, and if he doesn't do that, we're going to be asking, what are we doing? And I think Valentine is going to have to be a big part of that. I think you're going to have to just elevate and say, we need you to be a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And we need you to battle with A.J. Brown. And if you can win that matchup, we just saw it up in Detroit. Oh, boy. Guy had a great post-game quote. I don't even remember who it was, but their corner had a good day against Justin Jefferson. That's the kind of day you need from somebody that maybe you're not expecting. This is how you elevate from being, oh, he's a nice player, to, who's that cat?
All right, we need to play trivia. See if you can elevate your game. And it's double trivia, and it is Wisconsin Geography Wednesday.
Up North, Joe. We got Up North, Joe.
South Central Hunter?
No, I've never done a double trivia before, so I'm a little nervous about this. I've been worried about this the entire show.
Great. I appreciate your confidence. So we're going to ask for two callers. We're going to try and have both of them on the air at the same time. What did you say?
I said, is it going to be fine or is it going to be good?
Hunter's going to be just fine. Caller 5 and caller 10 to keep it simple. Caller 5 and caller 10. Double Wisconsin Geography Wednesday trivia. Caller 5 and caller 10. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. Caller 5 and caller 10. Play trivia next. Good luck, Hunter. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. The Homer Hour, with special guests every day from 5 to 6.
You still had a cigarette lighter in there?
No, we should all be dead.
An ashtray.
They have the station wagons where the people in the back were facing the other direction.
The Homer Hour with Homer.
The Packers got more money than God, so in the NFL, there's no shortage. Yes, we need fundamentally in the NFL, anything Detroit does, you just assume you can do it better.
Weekdays from 5 to 6, right here on 94.5 ESPN and streaming live on YouTube.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy with the Bucks at Fiserv Forum on Sunday, January 19th. This annual MLK celebration game presented by We Energies honors Dr. King's spirit of community advocacy. Catch the Bucks in action on the court with a special halftime performance, the We Energies Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Speech Contest winner. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit bucks.com/impact.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Joe Fortenbaugh.
Why is it that Jerry's way of doing business is always to take it down to the absolute last second, and then the deal gets done, and it always looks as if it didn't need to go down to the last second? Like there was no benefit from that. The CeeDee Lamb thing, the Dak Prescott thing, all of these deals which could have been done earlier and cheaper were not, and as a result, they ended up paying a premium they didn't need to pay. And for a man who fancies himself as a businessman, anyone's looking at him thinking to themselves, why does he continue to do this? So now here we are with McCarthy. You've been eliminated from the playoffs for weeks. Your team has gone nowhere for months. You knew that this day was coming and that you'd have to make a decision, and here we are, and that decision hasn't been reached, and you got other teams interested in the guy, which, by the way, now that there's another team in the market, does the price go up? Are you going to end up being the only team on earth to pay a premium for Mike McCarthy? What does that say about the business structure here?
There's never been a path to a national championship like this. 12 teams chasing one thing that's never been done. Every game, every play, every second matters more than the one before it. And when the confetti falls, only one team will have done something that no other team in the history of college football has ever done. Ever. The College Football Playoff National Championship, January 20th on ESPN.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my friends at Bank 5-9. Everywhere I go throughout the area, I see Bank 5-9, and it's no wonder why. Not only do they have 14 branch locations, but their employees spend nearly 9,000 hours each year volunteering in the communities that they serve. That's on top of the financial support that they provide to several hundred nonprofits right here in southeastern Wisconsin. If you're looking for a true local community bank, check them out today at bank59.com. Member FDIC.
You're listening to Wilde And Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
All right, before we get to trivia, and to give Hunter a little more time not to hyperventilate, I know you got this, buddy. I'm not worried. You'll be just fine. Did I miss this morning? Michelle Smallman, or as I like to call her, Michelle Schmalman, on Unsportsmanlike saying that if the Packers don't go to the Super Bowl, she's going to root for the Lions? Is that... Have we been betrayed? Or do you think a lot of Packers fans... We had this conversation like a month ago.
We did.
So are we okay with this? Because we're the ones who put on the sales pitch and probably won her affection for the Packers. You and me and Jesse and our whole Wilde And Tausch team. Is this a problem? Or are we okay with this?
I don't love it, but I'm not going to sit here and tell people how to fan. I mean, at some point you're going to pick the lesser of two evils. And I always say, if like last weekend, Minnesota-Detroit, I don't want to see Minnesota ever win. So if I had a pick. And now Detroit has gotten to the point where they went from being oh, shucks, look at that's cute. Oh, that's a cute little deal. Oh, they finally won a game at Lambeau to now being an existential threat to the G&G. My interest level in seeing them win is dipped significantly as they've gotten better.
All right. We'll have to reach out to her. I think this probably merits a conversation. But right now it's time for trivia. Let's welcome in our contestants. Hunter, you got this. I believe in you. Caller 5 was Dorf in Cottage Grove, which, like Dorf on golf, and apparently not a first-time contestant, which I feel like I would remember at Dorf. Dorf, good morning. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I typically am on with Brost and his crew, so...
Oh, well, there's no accounting for taste. All right, and then let's welcome in our second contestant. He is a first-time contestant. It is Steve in East Troy. Steve, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, guys. Good to be with you. Hunter's doing a great job.
He certainly is.
Steve, killing it.
Steve, have you had any brushes with the law where you've had to stand in front of Judge Mike Cotter at any point in East Troy?
Well, I'm a retired police officer, so I would hope not.
Okay, good. Mike Cotter is one of my best friends from college, and he is a judge in East Troy. The Honorable Mike Cotter.
When's the last time you had lunch with him?
I talked to him on the phone last week.
No. When have you had lunch with him?
It's been a while since I've had lunch with him. I called him one of my best friends from college. I did not say I've seen him lately. Steve, you will be the second contestant. Dorf, you will be the first. Is Tim Conway still with us? He played Dorf on golf. Is he still with us? No idea.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think
even
so
know who
either.
Tim
All
Conway
right. Dorf, here's question 1 for you. Tausch, you're really helping me out here a lot.
I don't know Tim Dorf. What do you want me to tell you?
You
I don't
know
him.
Dorf on golf?
No, I've never
saw
heard of it. I've never heard of it. No.
It's like Tim Conway, but he's standing. Never mind. All right, question 1, Dorf. Which of these is an actual Wisconsin city that shares its name with a current Big Ten university? Is it Oregon, Purdue, or UCLA?
Oregon.
Indeed, Oregon, Wisconsin, the hometown of Shaka Smart. All right, Steve, here, question 1 for you is this. Maybe sensing a theme. Which of these is an actual Wisconsin city that shares its name with another state's capital? Is it Albany, Rhinelander, or Honolulu, Wisconsin?
That would be Albany.
Indeed it would. 1 for 1 for each of you. All right, question 2, Dorf. Latitudinally, which of these Wisconsin cities is located farthest north? Farthest north. Is it Hortonville, Heartland, or Hartford?
I'm going to say Hortonville.
The home of the polar bears.
Is that right?
You are correct. Yes, indeed. Played a tournament there a couple weeks ago. All right, Steve, question 2 for you. Longitudinally, which of these Wisconsin cities is located farthest east? Farthest east. Is it Hortonville, Heartland, or Hartford?
Ooh. Boy, farthest east. I am going to say Hartford. Oh.
Tausch?
Is it Heartland?
At least according to the information I have,
yeah.
Heartland feels a little west to me, so
yeah, I think that could be fact checked.
There'll be some fact checking to reconfirm, but we will.
Yeah, they're so close to each other. They're pretty close.
Yeah, well, I would hate to question Jesse's accuracy because we never do that on this show, but sometimes it's necessary. All right, Dorf, question 3 for you is this. In which Wisconsin city is Dodge County Regional Airport located? Is it located in Randolph, Juneau, or Hustisford?
I'm a pilot, so I'm going to say Juneau.
Dorf on aviation. Correct.
I just Dorf really put it out there by saying he's a pilot. If he got that wrong, you have to start wondering. I don't know if I want to get in a plane with old Dorf.
Actually, you know what? I didn't want to say this, but I used to live in Oregon, so that's really cheating. If I lived in Oregon, so I already knew the answer.
So what you're saying is, other than Hortonville, where you weren't quite sure, you've had a pretty good go of this today.
Yeah. You want my address for where to mail the prize?
Yes, also
like
your
that.
Social Security
Cool
number
swag.
and your annual income as a pilot. All right, question 3 for Steve is this. In which Wisconsin city is Central Wisconsin Airport located? I'm not going to lie, I don't know the answer to this. Tausch, I wonder if you do. Here we go. Here are your options,
I
Steve.
do.
Is it located in Rothschild, Plover, or Mosinee?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I know there's 2 of them up there. It's Central Wisconsin, and then the other one over by Stevens Point. I'm going to say...
Makes you wish you were a pilot instead of a retired police officer, am I right?
Boy, I guess. Yeah, can I phone Dorf for some help?
Phone a friend.
Phone a friend?
Can I phone a fellow contestant? I love it.
Phone a fellow contestant. Yeah. Let's go with Mosinee. Ding, 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 ding.
Well done. Well done.
Nicely done.
All right, so we did not have 2 perfect scores, but we came awfully close. First of all, Dorf, congratulations. You got all 3 right. You'll have 4 entries into Friday's drawing. Thanks for playing. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
And, Steve, you got 2 out of 3. That means you got 3 of the possible 4 entries into Friday's drawing. We appreciate you as well. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks. Love you guys.
All right, love you guys.
Good stuff.
My only regret is that we didn't play triple Wednesday Wisconsin geography trivia.
That would have been a lot of fun.
With Hunter having to deal with it. Hunter,
I feel like we've put Hunter at wit's end already. I think this is about where we needed to push.
Yeah, I'm glad that we did that. That was... It wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be, but I was getting a little nervous and just...
Hey, Hunter, you're a rules aficionado. You seem to be someone that likes to play it down the... You're not somebody that's going to push the envelope. Fair?
Is that true?
You like playing by the rules.
Sure.
Yeah?
Sure.
Am I
For
wrong
our
on that
purposes
assessment?
here, just say yes, and we'll continue.
Yes.
Well, no, am I wrong on that assessment? You've come in for the show. You've done a great job. I feel like you have a pattern. You like to do things the right way.
Yeah.
Fair?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah. What is the rule on the opponent helping the other trivia contestant? Because I can't imagine that's in the rules.
I don't think we've ever
Could he
run
have
into
helped
it.
him with the airport?
I don't think we've ever run into it. I don't see why you couldn't have someone helping you with it. Because it'd be the same thing if you were doing trivia in the car and you've got somebody next to you, like, helping you out.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you're not Googling the question, like, I don't see why we couldn't do that.
All right.
I agree.
I'm a little nervous about this AI smartphone deal that's going to be... Trivia might be... We have to rethink trivia.
I feel like that would
Maybe we'll
need
get those
multiple perfect weeks for that to happen.
Yeah, we're not there yet, but I'm just telling you, with what I've been reading, things are moving at a really fast pace. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I thought you were a fan of this. Are you now starting to change your tune? Because you were kind of Johnny AI. You were kind of digging it.
Oh,
you were
I've always
pushing
been
for us to
scared.
use Chat GPT.
Homer. I almost just called you Homer.
I've been called a lot of things on this show. Not sure that was
Homer.
necessary.
I have been very fearful of it, but I am also now becoming realistic. This is going to be a huge part of our society. You either get moving with it or you're going to get buried. That's where I'm at. So just so you know, that's where my head's at when it comes to this.
So what you're telling me is the Terminator series is going to turn out to be a documentary by the time we're done here. The rise of the machines.
I don't know well enough, but I know this. Robotics and what's happening is moving lightning quick. That I know. You know what else I know? Quick Trip's blanking awesome. Life's busy. Quick Trip gets it, and whether you're craving fresh coffee, a tasty bakery, grab-and-go meals, Quick Trip's got it all. Variety and quality, fast service. Quick Trip's team is all about making your day easier and better. And then you always feel great when you walk in and walk out of that place. They just make you feel at home. It's what we love. They got the great clean restrooms, fresh groceries, everything that you're looking for. Free air for your tires.
And potatoes.
Free air. And potatoes. And bananas. And jumbo onions. All for 29 cents a pound. And you know what it is? It's Wednesday. $9.99 tender deal. Go in there. Get those sauces. You tell me somebody's got better tenders than Quick Trip. I don't know. Not in my world. They also got the $6.99 roasted whole chicken deal on Monday. They got soup bags for sale for $6.99. They got pizzas for sale. Just head on in there. You're going to get taken care of and everything that you need. Order ahead for pickup or go curbside. Whatever your heart desires. Quick Trip. We'll see you next time.
Whoa! Hunter is next. It's Wilde And Tausch.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcast for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
At UW Credit Union, our home loans have everything you need for your next big step, including up to $750 off closing costs for all home buyers. And first-time buyers can save even more. So if you're ready to trade roomies for more room, or your townhome for an out-of-town home, UW Credit Union will be with you from start to furnished. UW Credit Union. Apply online today. Equal housing lender. Credit may be limited as required by program. Visit uwcu.org for details.
With your Saganiac Planning Marquette recap, I'm Chris Larson. After trailing by 14 in the first half, number 7 Marquette outscored Georgetown 45-28 in the second half to rally for a 74-66 victory at Fiserv Forum. Senior guard Stevie Mitchell finished with 13 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 steals.
Stevie Mitchell to the basket, counted in a foul, he lays it up and in. He beat Sorber, then he beat Williams, and Stevie Mitchell will go to the line and try the three-point play.
The Golden Eagles improved to 14-2 overall and 5-0 in Big East play. They visit DePaul Tuesday night.
For your little ones and your biggest joys, for your forever true and your fur kids too. For all the reasons you smile, get covered with dental and vision insurance from Delta Dental of Wisconsin and Delta Vision. Support your overall health so you can be your best for those who matter to you most. Call John Saganiac Jr. John Saganiac Jr., Saganiac Planning, 262-783-6161. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service.
Hi, this is Michelle Voskel, CPA and team member at Right Choice Tax Resolution Services. The IRS has you in their crosshairs. We are local and know how to deal with the IRS or state to review and solve your situation. Just the other week, we successfully removed the target on Tim. He had been audited and was told he owed the IRS. We fought the notice and got him a refund instead. We also were successful with Nate to get $94,000 of penalties removed. This is why we started Right Choice Tax Resolution, to help people fight the IRS and state. You don't know the ins and outs of taxes or the more than 20 penalties they can impose on you. Make the right choice and call us at 844-222-1192. We want to help so your bank account doesn't get wiped out, your paycheck or Social Security garnished, or a lien put on your house. Get rid of that stress and get back to enjoying life. Call us at 844-222-1192 or visit rightchoicetax.us right now to book a meeting. We understand how stressful this can be. The situation won't go away if you do nothing. That's 844-222-1192 or rightchoicetax.us.
Chronic joint pain has a snowball effect. It's not just the pain.
What that did is just make me depressed that I couldn't get back into the gym, and I was inactive, gaining weight. I had to find another alternative.
And for Chad, that alternative was QC Kinetics and the non-surgical natural biologic treatments that can give lasting relief to aching hips, shoulders, knees, and backs.
Once they explained it, it made sense. Putting what we have inside our body back into us in a certain strategic way to heal up in a natural process was fantastic.
QC Kinetics treatments take place right in the office. No downtime, no surgery. And as for the outcome,
I'm just back to bouncing around, having fun, doing my work, living pain-free.
Don't let chronic joint pain rob you of your quality of life. Discover advanced regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics. Call now to learn more. It's a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
It started with a prediction.
Go out there and play basketball and win.
In how many games?
6. It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts. That's for the culture.
This is Wilde And Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
She said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa, Nelly!
On Wilde And Tausch.
Hunter cannot wait to get to Whoa Hunter. Now, I have a question before we start, though, because you are the resident Cowboys fan on the panel. Maybe you have this in your plan, but what the hell is your team doing with our guy, Big Mike?
Nobody really knows. Like, the assumption is that he's getting a contract, but it's weird. They denied, for those that don't know, they denied his ability to interview with the Bears. So that would be the assumption. They're going to try and get a contract done this week. But if they don't get it done, then by the end of the week, he can just go and interview with them anyways. So it's dumb.
So this does not mean that they necessarily want him back. They just don't want the Bears interviewing him until they tell him we're going to go in another direction. Is that what's going on?
Unfortunately, I think so. I'm kind of fine with him coming back. Like,
kind of fine. There's been a lot of he's going to be just fine. Yeah. I'm kind of fine with Mike McCarthy coming back to coach my favorite team. Everybody's fine. Everybody's that little dog in the little fire in his kitchen.
It's one of those things where it's like, okay, maybe they can get Ben Johnson, but like he's not going to come because he wants the control. Like, that's clearly what he wants out of it. So they're going to be getting a second tier hire and replace a guy that's been winning 12 games when he's had his quarterback healthy for the full season. Like, his 2 bad seasons were because Dak got hurt. So I'm just like, okay, I get it. Like, I don't think this team and this current roster is going to get them over the hump, but it would need a full entire rebuild, and they're clearly not doing that when they just re-signed Dak and CD, and they'll re-sign Micah Parsons.
I don't want to hijack your segment, but I do want to ask Tausch this. I want Mike McCarthy to be the next head coach of the Chicago Bears. Do you want that too, or would you rather he wasn't?
I would like to see Mike get an opportunity to continue to coach where he wants to. I don't really I don't think the Chicago Bears is a good job, so I wouldn't want him there.
Even with him coaching them.
Well, maybe he can turn it around, but as we sit here right now, I think that would be a unique opportunity. But I think their ownership group's not very good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think their president/GM know what the hell they're doing, and I don't know if that changes with Mike. So. He's dealt with Jerry. And by the way, all of this stuff, I just want to make sure we give a shout-out to Jerry. I sent you guys this note. Jerry Jones is a genius, marketing-wise. We've all thought that.
Great actor, too.
Jerry Jones is a fantastic actor.
I was going to bring that movie.
Up. Well,
what are you talking about? No.
Well, okay. This is on
I
Hunter's...
just saw this thing. It was, I don't even know the name of the movie. I don't know.
Big detail on Paramount. Big detail guy over here.
It's called Landman. It's about oil drilling in Texas. And Jerry Jones appeared in this most recent episode, and his acting was really good.
Talking about working with his family. It's method acting, though. It's like his real life.
Jason, I've seen you act. I've acted. We have not had Hunter, but Jesse in Tier 1. There have been a lot of us have acted. Jerry Jones, this sounds crazy. I don't know if Landman is a TV show or a movie. What is it, Hunter? Do you know?
It's a TV show.
He should win an Emmy. It's that good. I was never going to watch. I'm not a Paramount guy. It's more than Peacock, whatever. I am going
you
to
don't
tune
have
in to
Paramount
watch
either, though,
this
right?
show. I don't believe so. I want to watch this show because of Jerry Jones's acting. That's how good it was.
All right. First of all, now we've taken away multiple topics from Hunter, Cowboys resident fan. I agree that scene is fantastic. He is playing himself, talking about working with his family, and his family all work for him with the Cowboys. Like, I'm not saying that it's not a great scene. I'm saying that talking, like, and look.
You're such a hater.
Hey, he knew his skill set, and he was able to find the perfect spot for him.
Killed it. Guys.
He's like a great slot receiver knowing he shouldn't play on the outside.
Hunter, we can criticize Jerry Jones for his selfishness and the fact that he's not been great football-wise, but you can't take away the fact nobody is hitting that scene. And I'm talking, you could put Kevin Costner in there. You can put whoever you want in that role. Nobody is doing that role better than what Jerry Jones did. Nobody. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So it can be both things, guys. It can't be, he's this, so he can't be this. He killed it. He absolutely crushed it, and he deserves an award for how good he was.
Whoa, Nelly!
He was fantastic.
Yeah.
It wasn't a stretch from playing himself and talking about how much he loves having his family. I mean, his son is like the general manager of his he was able to act so authentically because it's authentic. Like, it's what he does.
Yeah, well, Jordan Love doesn't play linebacker. He's great at playing quarterback.
I don't understand the hate that
It's
y'all.
not
hate.
He just killed it. It's just honest critique.
No, it's hate.
If you
he done good.
Played
he
yourself.
Done good.
You played yourself at the 60-yard line.
I can't do it that good. I just did it in the 60-yard line. Nobody even knew what the hell I was doing.
No,
Jerry Jones goes and wins an award.
You did it in a 60-yard line knockoff for headlines, and no one knew what it was, in part because we were told it was from the Sandlot. You in the 60-yard line, which I saw. I didn't get to the end, of course, but you're not in the ending. You came off as a great actor playing, wait for it, Mark Tauscher.
Not as good as what
Hunter.
Jerry Jones. All I'm saying is give Jerry some flowers. We crush him on a bunch of stuff, deservedly so. He absolutely crushed this.
He did.
He should look into being more of an actor than he is.
Yes, I would like to see him play the captain of a spaceship next.
He could do it.
I'm sure he could.
To clean some things up from trivia, I did pull this up on Google Maps if you're watching on the YouTube
this is
stream.
Good work.
And you will see Heartland is highlighted in red. And then just slightly to the west, here I can even try and zoom it in a little bit more.
That'd be great.
Of course, now it doesn't want to load. There we go. I'll get this.
I'm sure you will. If you're listening on the radio,
this is
Hunter
great
zooming
radio
in
right now
on the video stream.
So we do have Heartland is just further east of Hartford. Barely, but it is.
All right.
So Jesse Nelson was correct there. Just want to make sure everyone knows that.
Hate it when that happens.
Yeah,
I'm
and
curious. They list a couple of businesses on there. Why is it whoever pays them to be on that map? I'm not going to say their name because they're not.
It's more
not where I'm at.
It's highly visited places that show up. So if you're searching in that area, it's guessing that that's where you would possibly want to go.
Could you put that up again with all the Baskin-Robbins locations?
One last one here, since I won't be on tomorrow, or probably won't be. Who knows what Jesse's schedule is like.
I don't know if that's true either.
College football semifinals, Thursday and Friday. There's a chance that we get an all Big Ten championship game. Like, that's a dream come true for us, right? Without the Badgers obviously playing in it.
Tausch?
It's not a dream. Dream come true?
That's the...
No.
You're a fan of a Big Ten
Notre
school.
Dame, Texas?
No, I don't want Ohio State anywhere near a national championship. Get them the hell out of here. What are you talking about?
Of those 4 teams, I'd much rather have 2 Big Ten schools.
That's a nightmare. No, that's a nightmare. Dream come true to see Ohio State win a national championship? I'd rather be dead last. What world are you living in?
Wait, are you acting right now? Are you playing Mark Tauscher, or is this a real reaction? Because it's so good.
Thanks. I'll leave it up to you.
So wait, do we not want...
A dream come true?
Hunter, this is not going well for you.
No, and look, my assumption would be, like, as a college football fan, I don't want an SEC school winning it ever. Like, that's a bigger priority for me. So even though Texas really shouldn't be in the SEC, like, they are one. And then Notre Dame, I'm kind of lukewarm on. So I'm like, okay, 2 Big Ten schools after all of the crying and complaining the SEC did about how, Alabama or South Carolina should have gotten in. And then to see 2 Big Ten schools go from the first round all the way through to the championship, that's way better than seeing an SEC team win it.
Dreams can't come true. Whoa, Nelly!
Okay.
I don't know what else to tell you, Hunter.
Okay, well, that's the end of Whoa, Hunter.
Yep.
That was fun.
So do we not want Penn State in the championship either then? Or are you okay with Penn State advancing?
Somebody's got to advance.
Right,
so
but
then
it could
why
be
not
Texas,
be the Big
Notre
Ten?
Dame.
I hate Ohio because Ohio State, I just don't like them. Okay? I don't.
Thank you for confirming. That's it for Whoa, Hunter. It was a dream come true. We'll wrap things up next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde And Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. Whether it's live or in podcast form, you've heard us on air with all of our shenanigans.
Gabe, I'm throwing some... Why are you throwing... I don't want...
Now see your favorite 94.5 ESPN shows streaming on video.
By me, by the way. I hit that microphone like 4 out of 6 times on that.
Subscribe to ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube and get notified when we hit the air live. Plus, you can watch back any second that you miss and see original digital content too. Watch, listen, interact. ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is hosting their first ever tournament with $750 in cash prizes available. Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center invites you to play in a 2-man scramble at Pebble Beach, all from the comforts of indoors on their top-tech, cutting-edge golf simulators. Grab a friend and sign up today at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com. The tournament is $120 per pairing and runs through January 31st. Your winter chance to play Pebble Beach awaits. WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
Looking for the most popular answer. What's the worst thing about Wisconsin winters? Gina Della from Pella.
Finding a sitter when snow closes school. Yay! It's the time of the year when we just want to be all warm and snuggly at home. And Pella helps make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. With inviting doors to let friends and family in and beautiful energy-efficient windows to keep the cold out. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
The green and gold and playoff football. Are you going to be ready come game time? HD TVs in every room. Check. Green and gold flag out front. Check. Grill ready to fire up. Check. Chips, dips, cheesehead. Check, check, check. Now the real planning begins. A trip to Discount Liquor to complete your own personal playoff party. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. Is beer on the menu? We'll set you up with your favorite or recommend something new. We have over 2,000 to choose from. What about liquor? Our variety is unmatched, as is our selection of wine. So if you want it, we've got it. Discount Liquor is your personal playoff party headquarters. Discount Liquor has everything you need, all at the lowest prices in town. Come see us today at 51st in Oklahoma and Milwaukee, and on Barstow and Main in downtown Waukesha. Open daily 9 to 9 and Sundays 10 to 2.
Discount Liquor.
It's playoff time, and it's now or never. Don't miss out on the last few weeks of football action with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. The app is really simple to use. Pick 2 or more players across any sport, pick more or less on their projection, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money. Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Join Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, available to play in more than 40 states, including California and Texas. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code WI. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code WI on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
We're almost out of time. Hunter, that was great. Don't beat yourself up about that. It was a dream come true. We had a blast.
Yeah, it turned out well. It was just, I thought Tausch would have a different reaction than losing it over Ohio State.
You did misread him slightly. You got to know he doesn't like Ohio State.
Well, I knew he didn't like them, but I didn't think it was that vitriolic. I appreciate it though. We need more of that in college football.
It's not much.
I don't know
Big Ten pride.
I mean, is it I pulled back from dropping the H word. So is that vitriolic?
I could see it in your face. There was a level of disgust.
That's fair. But not everybody watches this stream. They should. But if you're just listening, I felt like I pulled back. Right?
Sure.
No?
It was just fine. All right,
Jerry.
that's it for us today.
Jerry.
We may need to reach out to Michelle Smallman. I'm a little bit concerned about her Packers fan card.
Can we reach out to Jerry Jones?
Sure.
I want to get tips. Before we put our postseason video out, I'd like to get some acting tips from Jera.
Well, I know you're big on booking guests, so let me know how that goes as you search the great actor Jerry Jones. We have a better chance at Tommy Lee Jones. All right, that's it for us today. We will do it again tomorrow. Have a great day. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial-free full show podcasts are available free on Wisconsin On Demand.
Mark Tauscher here, and these days I am sleeping better than ever. I am so thankful I met with the great team at Advent to help solve my sleeping problems. The Advent team is so great to work with, and their consultations are very informative. The Advent team listened to my struggles, and rather than forcing a surgery, they helped me find the best solution for a better night's sleep. My family and I are so thankful the solutions from Advent worked. To see how they can help you with snoring, sleep apnea, and nasal breathing problems, go to adventknows.com, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Hey, this is Homer. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
With your Saganiac Planning Marquette recap, I'm Chris Larson. The 7th-ranked Golden Eagles rallied from a 14-point first-half deficit to move to 5-0 in Big East play after a 74-66 win over Georgetown at Fiserv Forum. Junior guard Chase Ross led the way with a career-high 27 points to go along with 6 steals and 15 deflections in the victory.
Now Chase Ross open three, good.
Got it.
Yeah, he's looking for the career high. He's at 21.
14-2 Marquette with some time to rest up before they visit DePaul next Tuesday.
For your fellow fanatics and your number one fans, for your game day compatriots and your personal cheerleaders, for all the reasons you smile, get covered with dental and vision insurance from Delta Dental of Wisconsin and Delta Vision. Support your overall health so you can be your best for those who matter to you most. Call Eric Pearson, Saganiac Planning, 262-783-6161.